Hello, Golan-Globus. Welcome
Whoa,
in.
tone it down.
Tone it down? How about I get a little lower? Nailed it.
Yeah, thank you, because one person living down under will thank you, because apparently 1 weekend of sex thriller month, and we're already getting blowback and complaints and whining.
It's just
Sorry, you can't masturbate to our show. You know who you are.
I thought everybody already was masturbating.
I
to our
did
shows.
too. I thought this was just gonna make. I thought there was gonna be spontaneous ejaculation. That's why I warn people: don't listen to us on a public bus or something.
I literally ripped my mailbox off because we all know about the whispers we get.
Yeah.
And we still get plenty of them.
They're very careless.
They're very careless. But oftentimes we get fucking just wadded up paper towels full of people's ejaculates sent to us with little lipstick prints.
How did they mail that? It's literally just a wadded up fucking Kleenex
with a stamp on it. I guess that works.
Yeah. People complain about the mail. There's no address on it. It's just a wadded up ball of jizz rags, a tube sock with a stamp on it, and they somehow find its way to the G&G compound. How does that work? But yeah, I'm gonna give the guy a little credit. I'm not gonna give him enough credit to name him. You know who you are. But I'll be honest, I think I let slip one time on Twitter that we're doing erotic thrillers. All right, technically, I guess we're not really. They're not. I guess it depends on what gets you a boner. I don't know. What we're talking about today gets somebody off.
Oh, it definitely does.
But sex thriller, I guess, is more the appropriate term, and that it's these movies are going to be where sex and violence intertwine.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
I'm going to go ahead. You say you might have slipped and called it erotic thriller month, but I'll let you off the hook here because the greatest authority on this matter, Criterion Channel, has an erotic thriller month going right now.
Right after we announced ours.
Yeah, a few days after our episode came out.
It's called Synergy. They're trying to make money off of our show.
Right. They rolled out. They know I plug Criterion Channel all the time. I talk about all the great movies they have over there. I watched a couple of them this week because I still have no car. That's miserable. But I get a lot of more movie time, so I guess that's nice. And what's featured under Erotic Thriller Month on the Criterion Channel right now? A little movie called Body Double.
Yeah, I wonder where they got that from.
Huh.
Yeah.
And if you know the Criterion Channel like I do, because I know it well.
You know the criteria of the Criterion.
That's right. They always do great behind-the-scenes interviews and everything, and right there you can watch the movie along to our episode. That's right, everybody.
How did they do that? Because our episode's an hour longer than the movie.
That's right. They have
they just play it twice?
They have some good editors over there.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So they kind of chop up some of the backstories.
They probably put in some scenes, some hardcore porn that Brian De Palma got cut out. They put it in, back in, pad it.
Right. Yep, pad it up a little bit. Works out.
So yeah, okay. It's sex thriller month.
Yes.
But you got anything else you want to say before we start talking about 8mm?
I need to make sure this is very clear. 1999, I was all of 12 years old.
Oh my God, I was 25.
25. You weren't hanging out at the high schools, hopefully. I wasn't either. I was in grade school when I was 12 years old still. Not quite junior high yet. And so there's a little rule in the late 90s, because you couldn't be gay back in those days.
No.
And you'll notice two of our characters often say this because they're watching pornography together. One, Joaquin Phoenix, and one, Nick Cage. Little insecure.
Is it gay for two men to watch pornography together?
I don't know, but I
heterosexual pornography is what they're watching. Well, I know they're watching some sick shit.
They watch a lot of shit, so we don't even know. And they're sitting butt to butt, even though there's multiple chairs. So there's a rule back in 1999 when we were a little unsure of what to think of the gays. No homo. So there's quite a few scenes in this movie. You notice they escape themselves out of situations of being confused with the gay by saying no homo.
Okay.
That's all you got to do.
I also want to point out, as far as Sex Thriller Month goes, because people are having issues with the selection of movies we had. Look, this is our experiment. Because I'll freely admit, Griff and I, this isn't our wheelhouse. Sex Thriller isn't our wheelhouse. But we're willing to experiment with different genres of action.
That's right.
And you people wanted it, so I said, idea was, well, if we're going to do a month, and if it fails, we're never gonna do another one again. This is the experiment, people. If you want more erotic thrillers injected into the show, it behooves you to support this, to like and retweet my tweets about this to get more people interested in, and we'll do more. So because people are like, I'm sure there's these like lesser known ones. I'm like, if we're gonna experiment, we're gonna do more mainstream, more like actors you've heard of.
Yep.
And then we'll go into whatever the Samurai Cop version of erotic thrillers is. Okay?
Yeah, we might be able to find some good ones out there.
Yeah.
You know that
Shannon Tweed has made her career off of making erotic thrillers.
You know we want to be talking Speeds and Scale. You don't get Speeds and Scale in erotic thrillers usually. As far as I know, it's all like sex crimes that are happening. You know, we don't have video.
Well, that's the thing. It's very nebulous what a sex thriller is, because like you could say Body Heat is a sex thriller, but it's kind of a neo-noir too.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? So it's in the eye of the beholder is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I learned the other day from I don't know if Alan Moore coined it, but I heard it from him, comic book great Alan Moore. You know what the difference between erotica and pornography is?
Ooh, interesting.
How much money you make. Erotica is rich people's porn, and pornography is what schlubs like us watch.
Okay.
So, like, if you're classy and have money, you watch erotica.
That's right.
But, yeah.
I like that you bring up erotica because we need to talk about the genius behind erotica for a second.
Yes, he makes an. Well, he doesn't really. He
makes an appearance in pictures and everything.
Yeah, posters.
He's got a super fan in this movie.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
All makes sense. The guy always wears a leather vest. He has the fucking gimp mask with the devil's lock going down the face for some reason. It just makes sense.
That's what it was? Yeah, I thought it was just like a strip of leather.
It's supposed to be a devil's lock, yeah. A leather devil's lock. That was a tough one to say for some reason. But you mentioned that during this time, Danzig just happened to be in his industrial phase.
Yeah, we opened. If you had no boner before, we killed it even more. Because we opened with Danzig experiment, and around this time, his experimentation with industrial metal, which was hot at the time.
Yeah,
you had Marilyn Manson. Were you ever into like industrial music at all?
I feel like I had bands that wandered into industrial. So I think Static X, they called themselves like disco.
They were kind of industrial.
But they were kind of industrial.
Yeah. Nine Inch Nails was kind of
Nine Inch Nails, I like them still.
I like a few Ministry songs, but I was never really into
I only learned about Ministry recently, and I never really got into that. Tool kind of has some industrial sounding stuff, maybe. No, actually, they don't.
Yeah, no.
They're more prog metal, weird, yeah. But I feel like there was a couple.
Too robotic for me. It's just like listening to a drum loop for like 5 minutes gets boring after a while. It has no soul to me.
No soul, okay.
That's probably why I don't like any modern computer, like digital music. Because it's dead to me. It doesn't,
Right. Not that you hate synthesizers, but
if you're doing something like synthesizers, like especially in the early days, like late 70s, early 80s, they were doing experimental shit because it was new.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But then they just got into this rut, like especially with industrial metal.
Yeah.
It's just this, the same beats, the same whatever.
Right. Don't like it but we get to see Danzig quite often. We get to hear his music. And then you also brought up that Disney had their own fucking record label at that time.
This was when Danzig left Rick Rubin's Def America. It became America Records, I think, after that, because Def is kind of a dated term.
Mm-hmm.
He left that for greener pastures. He dumped his band. He's like, I'm going to reinvent myself. And he went to Hollywood Records, which was a subsidiary of Disney, which also, one of their also big signings was a group everyone in Detroit is familiar with. The Insane Clown Posse's major label debut was on Hollywood Records. You heard it there. And I think they immediately got into trouble for the content, and Disney immediately dropped them, and they went back to their independent ways.
Yeah,
which I got to give. I mean, I think these guys suck, but you got to give it up to these guys. They're truly DIY.
They really
in the truest sense of the word, and they became millionaires off it. So
they're doing
good
well.
for them.
I've been to their house.
Yes, you have. Very classy.
Very classy.
But 8mm. All right, now we're entering the world of snuff films. Griff, I think you said last week you would watch a snuff film. Am I?
No, Murray. I think what I said was I wouldn't watch a snuff film.
I think check the tape. I think you said. Yeah, this is not my thing either. I don't. I think I'm trying to think. Like, I guess technically I would have in my edgelord young days because I watched Faces of Death, which everyone thought was real at the time.
Oh, that wasn't real?
No.
Oh.
I mean, some of it was like news footage shit was real, but most of it was just reenactments of like fake shit.
Oh.
But that's the thing. But then you're thinking like a fucking mom and pop video shop's gonna have a real like snuff film, like, and it's gonna be sold in Best Buy and all that shit.
I didn't realize it was hawked off at video stores and like that was like ditch porn. Like somebody that was like a tape that was traded.
No.
That's how I came across it.
Yeah.
Or no, that was on the bowels of the internet. Is when I saw like a clip or two from it.
Dark web.
I was up on that fucking Tor net.
This is pre-dark web. Yeah, it was Face to Death. Yeah, I remember watching that. I was like 12 or 13. It was, you had to show badass you were. You saw Face to Death. I think there were like 4 or 5. You know they're remaking it?
Why?
Exactly. Why? Like, how do you and they're with like actors people know.
Bob Odenkirk?
Yes, Bob Odenkirk signed off. He's playing Dr. Francis B. Gross, which is actually the character's name. I don't know if it's still on it, but it was on Tubi, and I was like, literally like a few months ago, I'm like, let me see this again. I couldn't get through. It's awful.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's awful.
Like I got to see 1 or 2 of the clips, and it was very realistic, and it fucked me up for a while there.
Yeah.
I thought I watched a man shoot himself in the head.
That probably was real because there's that one. There's like a politician or something who got in trouble and he killed himself like live on.
Okay,
TV.
because this was like in an office room, and
yes, that's real. That's real.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they show shit like what happens in a slaughterhouse, which is disturbing as fuck.
Well, yeah.
And so there is some. I guess in a way that's good because if you're gonna eat meat, you got to see what the cruelty that shit happens.
What's the saying about the sausage? You don't want to see how the sausage gets made.
Trust me, I saw Phases of This. You do not want to see what.
I don't fucking want to know how that gets made. It's terrifying.
Much like I don't want to see a snuff film, but there are apparently some people who do.
Right.
And they're the characters in this movie, 8mm, that we're doing today.
Right. It's going to be interesting if our fans can figure out what kind of person would want to watch a snuff film.
That's the whole dilemma that our character, Tom Wells, played by Nicolas Cage, is in. He's like, why?
Who would want to do this?
Exactly. It was like Mr. Ed. But yeah,
that's on Sunday's episode. You get to hear about Mr. Ed.
I don't know who would. I mean, but here's the thing though, because the premise, a lot of the people in this movie are like, it's an urban legend. Do you believe that? I totally believe there's real life, like video footage of people being killed.
100%. Especially nowadays, where every single human being has a camera. There's 100% snuff films out there.
Yeah, I believe. Like, what do you think? Like serial killers, like people act like serial killers went away.
Yeah,
because now mass murderers are the big thing.
Yeah,
no, they're still out there, and I'm sure they are filming everything they do, and it's really fucked up to think about that.
Right, they got the fucking sweet digital video collections and everything. Yeah, I just watched Manhunter again the other day because that was on the Criterion Channel. Talk about
is that erotic?
It was pretty erotic.
Good.
Maybe
we'll do that later.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very erotic. Lots of gratuitous sex scenes in that one.
A lot of bodily fluids spraying.
So much bodily fluids. Where are we at?
I don't know.
Films,
I think it's
not wanting to watch them.
No, we don't want to watch them, and I think we're doing the audio equivalent of a snuff film.
We are. We really are. So let's spice it up because we have a character in this played by Joaquin Phoenix.
Max California.
Max California?
Yeah, you said Max Hollywood, then no, it's Max California.
It's Max California? Oh,
yeah.
I think IMDb had that wrong.
Well, I only know it's Max California.
Either way, he works at...
Hollywood is in California.
Yeah, there we go. He works at a porno shop. An
adult bookstore, which, by the way, and don't worry, we've already copyrighted it. We've already patented it. You can't steal this idea.
Right. We've already got foundation down on our new fucking change store.
Yeah, everybody thinks like adult bookstores have gone the way of the dodo. Not anymore, because Griff and I are going to do the first hipster vintage porn shop.
Yep.
We're going to call it Ye Olde Porn Shop.
That's right.
And we're going to only sell pornography, only on VHS, only pornography that was made pre like 1990. So 80s, 70s, and 60s, all the porn you're going to get.
Weekends, we've already got a lineup of vintage porn stars that come in. They'll do autographs. They'll sign your dick. They'll sign your vagina. They'll do it all.
Whatever you want. Yeah, it's going to be female friendly, unlike the porno shops of yore.
Oh, yeah, no. We accept everybody. Like, we actually have the booths.
Every kind of pornography you want will be here. We're not just heterosexual. It's all kinds.
Exactly. We're bringing it to modern days. We're hip after all.
Right.
Bring in your kink. Bring in your furry suits. Do it all. Come on in. But everything is on VHS.
Only VHS, yeah.
We're
actually going to transfer some DVDs to VHS.
Yes, exactly. We're going to downgrade them. Yeah. And if you are a part of the elite club and you go to the second floor, you will be permitted to watch our Laserdisc.
Yeah. You can't rent them because they're too valuable.
Yeah, they don't leave the premise.
Right. But yeah, if you've ever watched porn on a Laserdisc, that's the most erotic thing ever.
Yeah. This movie,
it's almost like it's better than having sex. I don't know how, but it is.
It's the foundation for how we got VR technology today. It's all based on Laserdisc technology.
Right, lasers, future.
Yeah. This movie would be an hour shorter if this was filmed on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Because we know all the camera angles work.
And we're going to have a coffee bar.
Course.
And we're gonna it's gonna be porno related, so cappuccino shots would be called money shots.
That's right.
Want a money shot?
White flat turns into a cum slat. Wait, what? Cum shot?
Yeah, lattes are cum shots. Could you put a little milk in there?
Well, yeah. All coffee is just like a spritz of milk, but a flat white is like full on white. So that's got to be. They're all cum related, right? They're just all cum.
Of course. Yeah. What else can you do?
We're still working on ideas, guys. Come on.
Yeah, we're brainstorming here.
But you're gonna love it. Ye Old Porn Shop. Look for it. You're gonna be flying out.
We're gonna be everywhere. First, the one's gonna, of course, be in Brooklyn, and then we're gonna spread out.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Get your tickets ready to fly out there. You know, we're gonna do a live podcast and everything.
Porno shops. I teased last week, and I'm not a cock tease, even though somebody thinks I am.
Yeah.
Who's living down under. You know who you are. I teased that my best friend Larry worked at an adult bookstore at the same time this movie takes place. Late 90s. 99.
99.
Exactly is when he's working. I remember it well because the Pam and Tommy video was
oh,
out
my
at
God.
that time. They were selling that for like $50.
Of course they were. And please, go ahead. Tell us what that equates to today.
Oh, that's... $1,342 and 57 cents.
$1,300.
Yeah, just to watch fucking Tommy Lee steer a boat with his dick.
Right.
I don't know. Did you ever see it? I had no interest, but I heard it's just boring. It's like just them fucking around like on vacation and then occasionally fucking.
I think one of those days, because I was just telling Kayla about this the other day. They put the family computer in my bedroom. So there was some teenage nights where I wasn't, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't like going fucking nuts over porn back then or anything. But there's the
First of all, you're a teenage boy, you should be going nuts over porn. So
well, I'm telling you, I was obsessed with video games. I mean, come on, I was just...
So you're watching Custer's Last Stand. What was that video game?
Yeah, I was Larry, the...
Leisure Suit Larry?
Leisure Suit Larry. I was playing all those games. That's all I did.
8-bit porn.
Yeah, big time. Pixelated titties. But I think one of the videos I did look up, and I found like a 30-second clip of it, was them like on the boat or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, people were going crazy for this?
Yeah, I don't know. It was the 90s.
Yeah.
But I want to inject a little reality into what really went on in adult bookstores.
Behind the beaded curtain?
Behind the beaded curtain. As secondhand told. I didn't witness a lot of this. I'm going to tell you a little thing. My buddy Larry, and I was funny because I did see a lot of Larry in the character of Max Hollywood, or Max California.
California.
In that, and it's true. Like when you're in that world for so long, it does take its toll on you. And he had to quit after a few years.
Yeah,
because because here's the thing.
You said the job actually paid pretty well.
But yeah, I got 2 weeks paid vacation.
99 actually had paid vacation.
Yeah, which in for our people outside of America, that's rare for a blue collar job.
Oh my God,
to have any vacation, let alone paid vacation.
I didn't get paid vacation until I was 25.
Well, see,
26 maybe. Yeah.
So for reasons I'll leave unexplained because it's his business, he wound up having to work at a porno shop. So this place was mobbed up. It was probably a money laundering thing for the mob because they would constantly, not constantly, but probably once or twice a year get raided and shut down and all this shit.
Okay.
So, there was two shops. The place was called Front Page. And there was two. There's one that literally was on, I've talked about it before, another was on the corner of the street I live in.
Yeah.
Used to be a magazine shop. I used to buy comic books there when I was a little kid. And then one day, they just became all porn. Like, I walked in just because I'm comics. Get the fuck out of here. You can't be here. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
And like, it's all porn now. So they own both of those places. The one near me had an old guy who literally worked there every fucking day.
Yeah.
He loved his job, I guess.
That or he just had nothing else to do. He's just like, yeah, fuck.
Well, yeah, but it was funny because, and Larry told me this, he got robbed constantly because he's an old man. So people knew the old man would be there, so they were always robbing the place.
Really?
And they had to force retire the guy. They're like, no, we can't have you working here anymore. But the one he worked, so that was just a magazine shop. You could just get magazines and VHS.
Okay.
And then the one Larry worked at, which was in neighboring Waterford, Michigan, lovely Waterford, Michigan, it was half sex toys, videos, and magazines, and the other half were the booths that had the videos that you put the tokens in.
The worst.
Yes.
You're asking for trouble.
That's all it was trouble because, here's the thing. This is 99. We were just talking about people weren't as comfortable with gay people back then as they are now. So basically it catered to down low gay guys who were married with kids, living a lie.
Yeah.
And then they would come here to either jerk off to gay porn or try to hook up with other gay guys.
Yeah. Secondhand story for me as well. My buddy was at a party talking to this old guy we went to high school with and everything. And he was telling, there's still a weird underground gay community for fucking around in public places. Talked about going to a rest stop down 275, and you got the toe tapping under the stall, and then you're sticking your dick in a hole.
Yeah, glory holes.
Have you
ever seen a glory hole?
Fucking in a boot. I don't think I've ever seen a glory hole, but
I don't think I've ever went to the bathroom at a rest stop either. So maybe that's where they are. Yeah.
Well, working on the road, I used to stop at a lot.
Well, I
of
imagine. Yeah, you would go all the way to Grand Rapids.
I've gone to a lot of weird bathrooms, and I've never. I walked in on a guy shitting one time where he was standing on the seat crouched over it. And that was weird enough because he's wearing Jinko jeans. I was actually in Pontiac for that show, Murray.
Well, where was it?
That was at Clutch Cargo. I was at a restaurant right by there. My buddy was like, oh, let's stop here and grab some food before the show. And I just walked in. There's this guy.
Was it just a room that had one toilet? So
yes.
Okay. And he forgot to lock the door.
And you never know sometimes. If the door's unlocked, you assume you got.
Well, of course you assume if the door's unlocked.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. Yeah.
So I walk in. The guy's like, "Oh, no problem. I'm just finishing up." And I'm like.
Well, I guess you have to be cool about it. I mean, we all do it. We all have to take. Nobody wants to take a public shit, but we all have to sometimes.
Yeah, and that guy, very cool. He was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. No big deal. I'm finishing up here. You can get in here." Yeah. Sorry, Larry.
So here's the thing about adult bookstores. Okay, we all have sexual needs, sexual drive, sexual whatever. We all like seeing naked people. Fine, nobody cares about that. Problem with it is people would think because it's an adult place that the rules of society cease to exist once you enter this door. And you can do it. Anything goes. You can do or say whatever you want. No. The people that work at these places are regular people. They're just working. They want you to get your shit and get the fuck out of there. They don't want to hear your sexual fantasies. They don't want to fuck you. They don't want to be a part of threesome with your fucking wife. They want you. They loathe you just as much as everyone else loathes you at every other fucking store you go to.
Exactly.
But people, for some reason, misconstrue that. They think, oh yeah, man. Everyone wants to fuck when we come in this place. No. Go away.
I'm not horny 100% of the time because there's tits around me. Larry is probably completely desensitized.
He is.
To
He
porn.
was totally desensitized.
Yeah.
So okay, so there, like I said, there were these booths in the back. I never went over that side of the place.
Yeah.
It creeped me out because it was always dark.
Yeah. And you would go visit your buddy while
Yeah,
he was working.
well, yeah. If I saw I was driving by, I saw his car, I'd stop in because it was one of those jobs you just hang out.
Yeah.
And I would just shoot the shit with him.
Exactly.
And-
Just like at the comic book store.
Right, exactly. So I never saw anything really crazy, but okay, they had this totally butch lesbian Mexican lady that worked there. I think her job was to clean the fucking booths.
Mm-hmm.
So she was angry, as you would expect someone to be like that. She was like 5 feet tall, had a mullet. I thought she was a dude the first time I saw her, but no, she was a woman. Always angry all the time. Apparently, and I can see why, because apparently, I guess they had like a urinal for some reason, like in the booth area. Some Japanese business guys came in.
Oh no!
I guess we talked to Paul about the fucking bathroom issues in Japan.
Yes.
Guys, shit in the urinal.
No.
As far as I know, it was out in the open too. I don't think it was like in a room.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Like I said, I never went back there because I'm too germophobic. There's jizz on everything in that place.
Yeah, I would be.
So I was like, no, I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You might not come back. They might just grab you, pull you in, and you never come back.
It's a
So
Kinjete
she
situation.
I love this about her. She's like, she grabbed the guy and said, I'm not cleaning this shit up. You clean this shit up. And they made these guys, which they should,
Yeah.
clean their shit up out of the urinal.
Yeah, you fucked up.
There was a time when, because here's the thing. People were trying, not all the time, but invariably people were trying to like go in together in a booth together and jerk each other off or blow each other. So they had monitors across from the registers. So Larry had to watch because you can't have that. You can get fucking like deep trouble with that shit. You can't let that shit go.
Yeah, yeah.
So somebody was doing that. So Larry goes around to throw the guys out. There's a guy standing like in the hallway because it was like a hallway and then like on either side. It was almost it was like in the movie 8mm.
Or like changing room where you know you got
something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this guy he bends down, wipes his hand on the floor, and then puts his hand in his mouth.
No. No.
And Larry was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
No.
Yeah.
Off the floor.
And he did it like a I'm a naughty boy kind of look on his face.
Yeah, like he was still fully fucking aroused by the situation. And he was just like, "Oh, you caught me."
One time when I was there, he had throw out two guys were doing something. One of the guys looked like fucking Santa Claus. It was so sad seeing Santa Claus. He's like, they're like, we were just watching a movie together. What? Like, I go, get the fuck out of here. And then so like every once, and it's just, I don't know. It was such a sad place because there'd be guys that would literally rent a movie every single day, come in. But there were times like I think the place was like open like all year long. I think maybe Christmas it shut down.
Wow.
Because they were raking in so much money because these people wanted these fucking tokens to jerk off to their fucking,
Right. They wanted to go out
and here's the thing. I get like the guys that are like on the down low. Like they're living a secret life. They don't want anyone to know they're gay. But I know there were some guys that just wanted to fucking watch some porn and jerk off, and their wife won't let them fucking do that. And they had to let your husband have his one fucking tape, and he jerks off when you go out to like the spa or wherever the fuck you do.
I mean, yeah, maybe some of these people were accepted about it at home. I mean, I feel like we got to save some more Larry conversations for next week just because, like, this movie's already going to be 5 hours long. Because we got to talk about that clientele because these... If you got kids at home, they're finding your tapes.
Yeah.
It's 100%.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to find them. So I feel like we should continue the Larry conversation next week.
Okay. Yeah, because we're going to go long into
this. Is 9.5 pages
I will
of
say
notes,
one thing, though. When sometimes they would get shut down because, like I said, the cops... Guys, you would think you would told the guy their mom just died. The look on their face that they can't watch porn for like a fucking day. Like the guys would be like, oh, like this, like totally like.
This was their chance to get away from their house, to relax, to really relax. Maybe scoop some jizz off the floor. Oh, god damn!
Yeah, that's why he quit.
Did he have to like hand people fresh? Like, was there fresh towels available or something?
No, but this is from a guy my sister went out with. He went, I don't know, I think it was something there was towels. I don't know if it was like a massage parlor or if it was like one of these situations. And and this is my sister pointed out what an idiot he was. He's like, because he was a total like hipster douchebag.
Well,
so like when they were handed towels, and he was like, as a joke, they like wiped their face with it. I was like, so my sister's like, you took a jizz rag and wiped your face with it? What the fuck are you thinking? Because they're supposed to be, I don't know what they were trying to be like, ironic. Like, you're supposed to wash your hands, so I'm just going to dab my face. He's like, you just rub the fucking jizz on your face.
Oh.
And anyway, 8 Mile, 8 millimeter. We're right down the street from 8 Mile. Let's get into it, Griff. We've had too much fun.
Too much fun. Time to
now we're going to get really sick and twisted.
Yeah, we're taking our shirts off. It's going to get hot and steamy in here because it's fucking erotic. Excuse me. Sexual thriller.
Sex Thriller Week. Week 2. 8 millimeter.
This is the mortgage. Cindy's college money. If I do right by Mrs. Christian, the circle she runs in, this could be the break we've been waiting for. Can't take longer than a couple weeks. That's all I can tell you, honey. Sometimes you can't know what I'm doing. It's better that way.
It's always that way.
You come highly recommended, Mr. Wells. You're praised for your discretion.
Thank you, ma'am.
As you know, my husband passed away recently.
Yes.
My husband was the only one with the combination to this safe. These were my husband's private things. I didn't realize.
Do you want to tell me what you found, Mrs. Christian?
Private Detective Tom Wells is one of the only people who has seen it. It is 8 millimeters wide. It runs at 16 frames per second. And he has been hired to discover.
All I want is to know that this atrocity is false. I want the proof of it.
If what's on it is real.
Finding the guys who made this film is going to be very difficult. I need information. I thought you might be able to help.
You name the device, I name the price. I'm gonna tell you, there's things that you're gonna see that you can't unsee. They get in your head and they stay there.
Some doors should never be opened.
Tom, where are you?
You dance with the devil. The devil don't change. The devil changes you.
Because once you go through,
I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
there is no going back. Nicolas Cage.
I'm trying to understand!
Wherever you were, just forget about it.
I can't. There's no one left to finish this but me.
8 millimeter. A film by Joel Schumacher.
All right, here we are.
Did that turn you on?
Oh, it better have turned you on. If you didn't hear your dick get hard, or your, or
Is that how your dick sounds when it gets hard?
or your undergarments get filled with wetness, then you are not ready for this episode. This is great for I'll tell you about Tom Wells coming into Ron DeSantis' Florida.
Yeah, Tom Wells, our lead, played by Nicolas Cage, is.
He's banning all the books, but not pornography, that Ron DeSantis. Good for him.
Do they make pornographic books anymore? Like I said, with the internet, is this all obsolete? I mean, we're going to bring it back with Ye Old Sex Shop.
Look, I drive by 4 or 5 different strip clubs on my way to Kayla's house, and I drive by 2 adult bookstores.
What's going on in those bookstores? Like, I get the strip club because it's like there's women there.
Yeah.
I mean, but who's fucking buying porn mags still in 2023?
Strange people. Strange.
And the thing is, I bet you can get it way cheaper online than any of these because they were charging $50 for shitty VHS fucking 25 years ago.
I'm interested, maybe for some market research, I will have to go into one of these stores and figure out what we should be pricing our shit at. But I mean, we're vintage, so of course we got to double it.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I can't imagine how much it would be. You can like do an OnlyFans, interact with the person, get them to do the thing you actually want them to do
Right.
for probably a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I guess there's just some people that's old school. They keep it old school.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to
Like-
deal with a computer.
Like they want to go and find the people that they grew up
Right. It's
jerking
the
off
camaraderie. You're right. It's the camaraderie of the purrs.
to. The camaraderie.
Exactly.
I like how you did that.
camaraderie of the creeps.
Anyways.
Tom Wells. All right. Nicolas Cage is a private investigator, and he's in Miami. He's observing a person who's cheating on their wife.
Yeah.
And he gets all the info, flies to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where there's a senator. It was her daughter's husband, and he gives her the evidence because he's very professional.
Yep.
We're getting a lot of info about what kind of man Tom Wells is. Very professional, very about working his way up.
Yes.
He's working with a senator.
Right. You need clearance for that kind of work.
Right. And he's not content to just be fucking Magnum, who just, stays on his palatial estate with Robin, whatever his name was.
Masters?
Robin Masters.
The
yes.
third.
The third. He is like, I have a wife and a child, and I must live in a McMansion in the fucking, suburbs.
He just thinks he's going to be doing all these cases where it's like, oh, it's an adulterer again, no big deal, whatever. But, we're going to find out.
And as he's walking out of the senator's office, he sees a headline on the newspaper that says, Major industrialist dies at 81 years of age.
Oh, I did not notice
Yes,
that.
he does.
Nice. Joel Schumacher knows how to hide details.
A lot of shorthand. He just peppers it in so you get the idea.
We go home with Tom Wells back home in where?
I thought he was living in Pennsylvania too.
It looked like Pennsylvania. They gave it that Midwest fog.
Yeah.
We talk about the Mexico filter all the time, but Midwest also has a dreary.
It's like a gray.
It's a
filter.
grayscale, yeah. That's what we're always looking. When we say it's sunny out here, that's what we're seeing.
This movie was definitely something David Fincher rejected. They're definitely going for that David Fincher vibe, that Seven kind of vibe with this, because that was hot at the time.
Not to be confused with Andy Sedaris' Seven.
No, it's way better.
It's a lot more sunlight too.
So he meets his wife and his beautiful baby. He calls her Cinderella. I hope
Cindy was the name, so
okay.
Cinderella.
Well,
yeah.
good. I hope the baby's not even Cinderella.
Yeah.
But.
Be dumb.
And she's like, have you been smoking? So these are, like I said, these are good little things, shorthand. Like, now we know he keeps secrets from his wife.
Right, and he's good at hiding it. And when she calls him out on it, you smell like cigarette smoke. Oh, I haven't been smoking. My clients sometimes smoke. Maybe you're smelling it on my jacket. Maybe when I walk in the door, you shouldn't accuse me of smoking right off the bat. So immediately got her on her heels. And you're like, is Tom Wells a good fucking husband? He's clearly a great dad.
Yes, he's good as a provider, but is he a good as emotional provider?
Yeah. And when his wife is like, kind of like, again, on her heels and everything, he goes, why don't I cook you dinner? So it's push you the far away and then pulling you right back in. Oh, I'm such a sweet man.
Deflection. So they have that nice, I think he just made some fish sticks, but, hey, he's a man, he doesn't know how to cook.
And it just so happens that is her aphrodisiac, burnt fish sticks, because they are working his burnt fish stick in bed.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it would even rate on the Sweden scale. This is some like we've been married for 10 years. We got a baby. We live in the suburbs kind of sex.
Every single light is off. The fireplace isn't on. The radio's not
under the
on.
covers.
Under the covers. Under the sea. You got nothing. You actually hear a Disney movie playing from the kids' bed.
extinguished.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. Boring. No moves. That's why I said before, we're doing sexual thrillers. We're not doing movies that rate on the Speedson scale because nothing across this movie rates.
Right. Next day, he gets a call from a Mr. Longdale.
We get this shot of Nick Cage outside, Tom Wells, raking leaves sadly. This is a Midwest tradition.
Yeah.
We do this 6 months of the year. We just rake leaves in the gray.
Just from back and forth. We don't bag them. We just.
I don't know if everybody has Zoloft commercials. That's what the Midwest looks like. It's constant Zoloft commercials.
Gets a call from Mr. Longdale, who is the lawyer for that industrialist, Mr. Christian, that we saw earlier.
Right. I hear you work with, top-notch clientele. What is this voice? I'm sorry.
Because you think that's what a classy person would
Yeah.
talk. That's because our manservant, Mattingly, has a British accent.
That's
so you
gotta
assume
be it.
every servant has
That's
a
gotta
British
be it.
accent.
And as soon as this guy starts talking, Nick Cage lights a cigarette in his house.
Right.
How the fuck does he get away with this? His wife is delusional.
Because he gaslights his wife.
Big time.
Yeah. And he's like, we want to shave at 4 p.m. is fine. You know, they set up a meet at 4 p.m. at Mrs. Christian's estate.
Right. And he's like, do you need the address? No, I don't think I need the address to that place.
Right, because it's palatial. It's right next to Stately Wayne Manor where Bruce Wayne lives.
Damn right.
Heads out over there. We meet Mrs. Christian, a lovely old lady.
Yeah, very, very innocent old lady. In a wheelchair. In a
Yeah,
wheelchair.
totally like, how could this woman be guilty of anything?
Right.
Horrible. We get a little rundown from Mr. Longdale, her attorney. We learned that Tom could have been a lawyer, but he chose to move into surveillance because that's where the world is moving into, surveillance.
Yep.
But this is nice. Like I said, this is nice shorthand because now that we know he could have been a lawyer, Tom is smart. We learned that trait. We don't, unlike Sensei Seagal, we have to have 5 pages of how amazing he is.
Yes. And again, we learn lawyers, what do? They talk. They convince people, of things that maybe aren't exactly 100% true, just like we saw with his wife.
So Mrs. Christian gets straight to the point. She's like, young man, my husband was he gave to charity. We raised 5 great children, 10 great grandchildren. But he would never allow me in his man cave, his inner sanctum, he called it.
That's right.
And we see he's got this office. He's got a painting of himself up on there, very Trumpian.
That's definitely what you do when you reach that echelon of money,
Right.
is you lose connection with humankind and you have oil paintings done of yourself.
And like every great rich guy, he's got a safe hidden behind that painting of himself.
Right.
And there was no comment. He never allowed her ever in there. She didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, they had to spend big just to get the
They
safe
had
cracked.
to get the Indian from Body Double to come in with his drill
Yeah.
to get into that fucking...
So listen to Body Double to understand what that means.
Right. And she's like, I found something very out of the ordinary. This film. And she pulls out this 8mm. That's where the title comes from. This 8mm film. And it turns out, she's like, did she watch it or did the lawyer watch it?
I don't actually. Yeah, I don't know who watched it here because they know about there's a girl. In this
gotta
film.
believe she watched it, and I'm not going to give away a reason why.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, it's this horrible. This girl is being murdered. I want to know: is this real? I can't believe my husband would have this in his possession.
Right.
Is this real? I need you to find out. Is this girl still alive?
Right, and so he's like, ma'am, what you're describing there is a smut film?
It's a snuff film.
Snuff film, urban legend in the pornography scene. So I guarantee you what you've been seeing there is probably special effects, visual artists,
Faces of Death.
Faces of Death. You might have heard of this guy, Brian De Palma, huge in the erotic thriller scene. He's got stuff that you would be convinced is total snuff. But at the end of the day, it's all smoke and mirrors.
And he's like, but would you please still watch it just to be sure? And he's like, sure, I'll watch it. So like he's got his own. The guy's had his own private screening room.
Well, of course he does. He's got probably multiple 8mm reels, of
Right.
fucking, like we talked about with the VHS people who still buy porn on VHS. That's his style.
Griff, VHS, or should we just go 8mm? Should we only sell 8mm in our store?
Murray, we're vintage, we're hipster. We can do both.
All right.
That
You heard it
doesn't
here first.
leave the shop either, though. Like the
Yes.
Laserdisc, the 8mm can't
Well,
leave.
because they don't make that film anymore. It's all digital now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just think about it. It's like a noise machine while you're jerking off. Like you hear the reel running and everything.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it is.
So Tom starts watching it. He's like, "Oh, this is no way this is real." And then he sees this very scared young girl. They're in this like crack house. It's horrible looking.
Tarped up like a Dexter kilt room.
Right. And then this man, this very dumpy man with a gimp mask, comes into frame, and he grabs a girl by her face, and we see a pentagram tattoo on his hand.
Right.
And we're like, wow, this looks pretty goddamn creepy.
Starts, going. He walks over to a little like the nurse trays with all the
Yeah.
fucking instruments on, but he's got knives and bullshit like that. And so he grabs a knife and walks over. And what does he start?
He just starts slashing her.
Slashing across the
this
chest
is
and
the
shit.
shortest fuck. You think if you're paying big money for this, you'd want to like have the whole scene set up.
Is a snuff film just about killing? Or is it about fucking and then killing?
I think it could be both, but I think
Okay.
you have to have a death in it. That
Okay.
is the definition of a snuff film. But I would assume,
Definition.
I'm assume if you're doing that, you're sick enough to do that, you probably would rape the person too.
I thought the whole idea was supposed to be they were gonna fuck and then kill or kill and then fuck. You know, sorry, that's gruesome, but yeah, I thought that was the idea. But they literally, from what I could tell,
this movie literally lasts 30 seconds. It's not a long movie.
right?
But I guess this guy just gets to the point. He just wants to see someone die. Maybe the husband had rape films already. He got bored with that. So yeah, so this girl just gets slashed, cut the fuck up by this masked character.
So Tom returns after watching it, and he's tells her, well, it does look very realistic. And Mrs. Christian tells him, okay, I just want you to try to find this girl. Figure out if it was real or fake. I need to know what kind of man my husband really was.
Right. Money is no issue. I will give you whatever you need. And he's like, but she's like, but please, do not mention him at all. Don't go to the police.
Doesn't want the press getting a hold
Right.
of it.
I don't, because if this isn't a murder, I don't want my husband's names being dragged through the mud. 'Cause
Right.
He's done a lot of good for this.
Right. She was like, I don't know why he went to the he could have watched porn in the house. Instead, he's going out and fucking watching. No.
So you think Mrs. Christian's the kind of a cool wife that would allow us, he wouldn't have to go to the front page?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, she would have been like, yeah, fucking bring your porn in the house. But no, he ran away and watched his porn secretly, and she knew.
So Tom's like, all right, I'm going to handle this like a missing persons case. I'm going to, work my magic, and I'll get back to you. But he's like, look, because Mr. Longdale, the attorney's there, he's like, I'm only going to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm not talking through your intermediary.
Yeah.
This is between you and me.
Right. And Miss Christensen agrees to it. Longdale's like, no offense taken, my boy.
So Tom gets home. He runs to his daughter because he's shook up. He's like, I have a daughter. That was somebody's daughter in that movie. So this is why it really is personal to him. Even though it's a baby, he's just like, oh my God, this might happen to my daughter. I can imagine this happening. So he just grabs her and hugs her immediately.
It is creepy though, because the baby is lying awake, middle of the night, just staring up at the ceiling, and Nick Cage walks in and she does not react. She's just like, I don't give a shit. Whatever. Who the fuck cares? Anyways, next morning, Tom's telling his wife, Amy, that he has to head out to Cleveland. It's just a missing persons case. No big deal. There's no trail whatsoever. There's no chance
he's
we're
like,
gonna
I'll
find
be
her.
back 2 weeks tops.
Yeah.
But then she sees he's pulling his gun. She's like, well, why do you need your gun if you're just doing missing persons? He's like, oh, I probably won't even need it. It's just there for, looks, make you look
Caution.
badass.
It makes me look a little badass, makes people actually talk a little bit more, and also it just makes my dick feel bigger.
So Tom flies out to Cleveland, the Paris of America, as we call it.
That's right. Rock and Roll Hall of
He does
Fame.
stop at the Rock and Roll of Fame, and he's so outraged that Iron Maiden still hasn't been put in the Rock and Roll of Fame. Come on, Rock and Roll of Fame.
I don't want them in there.
No, I don't think
It's
they want to be in
cooler
there.
to be out of there. It's just like the WWE Hall of Fame. Everybody's in there. It's better to be out of there.
So he hits up the U.S. Resource Department, and the guy's like, could this statistic be real? 1 million people go disappear every year?
I can't argue with it.
Sounds like a
though.
lot.
That is a lot. I mean, 1 million is a lot.
That's almost
That's
like
more-
1% of our population.
1 million a year is about as much as we lost to the C word a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
To think that they just went missing, that's even
So
crazier.
I don't know, I call suspect on that stat, but
This
okay.
guy, by the way, is he using his fake name at this point?
Tom?
Yeah.
No, he's I think he's
Okay.
using.
Because at one point I thought he started using an alias.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
he's just using.
But he's walking in, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm helping out with this case. We just want to find somebody. And they're like, look, 1 million people, we don't give a shit who comes in here. If you want to look through our database, you could look through our database. Oh, you guys got some coffee around here? No. I mean, yes, it's awful. But by the third day, it'll be your best friend.
Care for a money shot? That's what we call espresso.
Is that where we got the name from?
Yeah. So all right, so he pours over that. So far nothing. He's got,
Right.
And then he goes back to his hotel room. He's constantly watching that movie. He's becoming obsessed. We learn that he's the kind of guy, when he's on a case, he becomes obsessed with the case.
Yes.
Because he told his wife, I'm going to call you every night.
Right. He's trying to do the good husband thing.
Right.
Again, very Manhunter. It's like he gets into the mind of the killer, and he's trying to figure it all out. And he's also got this beautiful rigged up system, because now he's got the reel-to-reel set up vertically, pointing down into like a capture for technology that I was like, does this even exist?
Very Blade Runner.
Yeah, very Blade Runner. And so he's able to go frame by frame and take pictures and upload it to a computer.
Yes. And he's going, enhance.
It's just not working because he's just yelling
and it's so grainy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know that's probably the director's aesthetic, but if I'm paying $1 million for a snuff film, I want to see what's going on. I don't know why it's so grainy.
Okay, yeah.
But we learned that our director's an artist. He's not just a scumbag.
He knew he was bringing his money to, right? He was wanting, David Lynch's version of this movie. A character we'll meet later, Velvet.
Dino Velvet.
Great
name, by the way, for a porn slice.
That is a great name.
So he says he's expecting it frame by frame, and the only clue he comes up with is the type of film that this was filmed on. Supralux 544. So he goes off to like a place that does,
tapes, films, VCR, all that shit.
And he learns
developing.
That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Develops the film, and he learns that this film is discontinued in 1992. So this girl had to be around that time when this happened.
6 to 7 years ago.
Right. So he's like, fuck, this is going to be harder than I thought. But now he's got some.
He's got some clues, and he wants to report back. Again, he's very professional. So he's reporting back his findings. Mrs. C's paying him a lot of money. She's a millionaire, too. So he's like, I got to get good with these people.
Can you check your financial records from 6-7 years ago? Maybe we can find something. And so she's like, I could do that.
Of course. You're doing great work, my boy. Keep at it.
So he's watching the thing. This is where he sees the hand he sees the tattoo. So
it's the most obvious fucking thing. It's like not noticing the guy was white in the film.
Back to the resource center. He's going through all these shots of missing persons. He finally, because he's got that picture of her that he said he uses his Blade Runner machine to print out a picture of her. And then he also knows now, because of the film, to look in like 6 to 7. And the guy told us this is how they're organized. Children here, adults here, by the year. So he was able to whittle it down to 1993. I'm looking for a teenager, so she was not an adult. So he got to focus in on one area. Finds the match. It's Marianne Matthews has been missing since 1993. It all falls into place. But now he's got to talk to her mom.
Her mom, yeah. He's got to find her first.
Right. Did she live in Cleveland?
She was in Cleveland.
Was that coincidental?
Very coincidental.
And so he heads out to her place. Very dreary apartment she lives in.
Yeah. It looked like it was a duplex or something. It was like a house, but
and she's not home. Neighbor says that she's at work. She works at a supermarket, so he goes to the supermarket.
Again, we gotta go to see how bad of a life she's working at a local supermarket. So it's like
she's just
clearly,
getting by.
Yeah, clearly she's living the worst life. She's drinking a bottle of whiskey at night, so she has some money, but she's a broken woman. Yes. We get that.
Well, right, her daughter disappeared.
Yeah, years ago.
So he lies to her basically and pretends he knows the FBI agent that was on the missing persons case.
Yes.
Did the FBI did he notify you? Oh, you mean Agent Mulder? Oh yeah, Agent Mulder. Yeah.
He should have told you I was coming by. I'm gonna help him out. He's just got his hands folded, hands tied. His hands are tied.
And he's like, I don't want to get any expectations up here, but. I'm going to try my best to find your daughter. So they go back to her apartment because she's got photographs out. He's looking over there.
Right. They're just kind of like shooting the shit.
Give me any background. What was your family life like? And she's like, well, you didn't get along with my husband Dave, his stepfather. That it's always a stepfather.
They were butting heads constantly. She was hitting those teen years, and outside of Dave, was she like maybe sleeping around with some dudes, hanging out with some guys after dark or something? Well, as a matter of fact, she would come home with hickeys on her neck.
She was definitely sneaking out. And he's like, oh, interesting, yeah, interesting. And then he's like, were
there any big blow-ups or, feuds or anything between you guys?
And she's like, yeah, one time I caught her like sneaking out and we had a big blow-up and then she just ran away the next day.
Well, Dave got involved and we were yelling about Dave and then I hit her. I slapped the shit out of her. And then she ran away.
Well, do you mind if I go griffin through her bedroom at all? No, go right ahead. If you can find a clue. I mean, the FBI combed over it. I don't because of course she didn't touch the room for the past 7-8 years. 6
to 7 years, yeah.
And she even pointed out, she's like, there are birthday presents, wrapped birthday presents on the table. I get her one for every year.
That's right. That's how good of a mom I am.
So he starts griffing through her shit, and it's, nothing really turns up.
Then he starts this is exactly how I would work too. It's like I get bored of one room and then I just wander the house and I look.
It's like, I gotta take a douche. You got a bathroom here? What was up with this bathroom?
Okay, this was clearly the abandoned bathroom. She's got to have one by her bedroom.
Yes, because some places have. My sister Julie has in her house in Tacoma. There's a toilet in the basement, like a grimy. I don't know what that's. She told me there was some reason for it. Like some kind of like sewage line shit.
That would make sense, yeah.
Because that's what it looked like. It was just like, it looked like an outhouse.
Right.
It was this grimy, dark little room with a toilet in it.
I'm doing the notes and I look up, I'm like, what the fuck did he walk into? This is attached to the house. It looks like an outhouse.
It had the fucking light with the string you pull on it.
It looks like you can see moonlight coming in through the fucking boards that are set
There
up.
was like a crescent moon cut out, like an outhouse.
That too.
Yeah. There was just newspaper to wipe your ass. It was it was rustic.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And all the time you're hearing Janet in the kitchen pouring just glug, 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 glug. I'm making you a drink. I hope you're thirsty. And glug, 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 glug.
Thirsty.
Yeah, she's thirsty for a lot of things. Right. The fog, the smog.
Well, Dave's been gone for 6-7 years.
She didn't want to date her out. I mean, this mom could get it on, but, she's too caught up in the daughter thing.
All right. This is very just like we need to move the plot along because he's just like,
yeah.
I'm going to go check the tank.
Thank you, Joel, for moving the plot along for one scene of the movie.
He decides to just check the tank. People usually hide, their diaries or prized possessions in the toilet tank.
Tom must have been a troubled teen, too. Tom the troubled teen.
He had some goth elements.
That's right. He was always wearing that sleeveless shirt.
Yeah. That sheer sleeveless shirt.
He always was in this movie.
So he opens the tank up, and there's a diary in a plastic bag. It's been there for 6 or 7 years. That's some good plastic.
That's really good plastic, yeah.
And sure enough, it's Mary Ann's diary. And he leafs through it, looking through it.
Yep.
And we learned that
she actually did hide the diary from Dave. She left a note in it, like her last entry was to her mom, telling her, I didn't run away because you hit me. I ran away because I fucking hate Dave. And also,
I'm in love
with Warren
Anderson.
And I'm going to be a fucking star.
Yeah, we're going to move to California. This is classic teenage fucking like romance.
Right. When you live in fucking dreary ass Cleveland, you're like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to be the next Plumber Moxley. I'm going to be a fucking star.
Right. You can't wait to get the fuck out of your shitty little hometown.
Yeah. Everyone's going to...
You didn't have opiates weren't as available back then as they are now. So you had to go out and find your way in life.
Right. And, it's like the whole plot of Mulholland Drive, It's just, you think you're just going to arrive there. Next thing you know, you're a movie star. Because she is convinced that because of how in love she is with Warren, she's going to be a star. I've got fire in my eyes. Everyone will notice me.
Right, and Warren tells me how beautiful I am and how I'm going to be a big star. The classic, the cock smog that he's blowing her away.
Exactly. He's blowing it all over her.
And so she's like, hey, want one of those drinks? I'll be out there in a minute. And then he just hides. He's like, this is a 2-flusher. And then he hides.
Dave always had 3 flushers. I get it.
He hides the diary. Does he take diary? I think he hides the diary back, right? He doesn't take it.
I thought he took it with him.
Okay, whatever. So now he's got to lead Warren, this boyfriend. So he goes over it. He finds out where Warren's father works at like some garage.
Yeah.
Goes over there. He's like...
Because she left in the message, You know, Warren's dad, Mr. Anderson, who owns the car shop down the street. It's like
759 douchebag Lane. You know,
Joel, thank you for moving the movie
it's
along.
like, hey, it's Warren around. I got some money for him. You know, it's like, well, you know, you can give it to me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it straight to him. Cause
He
he's
moved
in
out to Florida, no, California, right?
Max Hollywood, right?
He's like, no, he's living in fucking Fayetteville. He's in the fucking penitentiary.
8 months for a B&E.
So he goes out there. We get it. Hey, man, Walking Dead fans. We get Daryl, everyone's favorite emo,
right.
zombie killer, back when he was a baby.
You don't know this name, but he's big in the video game world. Hideo Kojima is obsessed with Norman Reedus. You might have seen clips for the game Death Stranding. And so he's a package delivery guy in the future who carries a baby in like a fucking chamber on him. It's a huge meme because Hideo Kojima's games are always nuts, but he's obsessed with Norman Reedus.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So we see him. He's just like mopping the floor. He's like, yeah, I knew that bitch. When I fucked her, I dumped her.
I went out to Hollywood. She fucking followed me out there, came knocking on my door saying, we're in love. And I said, no, we're not. Go the fuck away. So I dumped her ass. She's fucking slutty bitch. And she said she's going to...
Tits weren't even good.
Yeah, she said she was going to work at the titty bars. And I told her, your tits aren't even good.
Those fried egg titties, you ain't doing anything.
Get the fuck out of here.
So Tom's rightfully disgusted with this creep. So,
Hey, let me get a cigarette off of you.
And then Tom drops it, does a Rudy Ray rub out. I don't smoke. Burned. His cigarette burned him.
All right, so Tom goes back to visit Janet again. Of course, she's desperate for company.
I haven't made love to a man in 6 to 7 years.
Yeah. She was wearing like her mom outfit before, and she's like, I'm going to fucking double down on my mom outfit. Now she's wearing the mom skirt with the mom sweater.
She's making sloppy joes, too.
Oh,
the way
my
to a
God.
man's heart is through the sloppy joe.
She's thinking that that's what this guy's into.
Well,
like the
Cleveland,
mommy.
every man in Cleveland
wants
like,
the mom,
yeah,
right?
well, wants the sloppy joe.
Oh, sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
That's the aphrodisiac of Cleveland, not Skyline Chili. Or are there sloppy joes made with Skyline Chili?
there are.
Of course they are. We got you solved,
You
Cleveland.
can only get it in Cleveland, though.
Yeah, that's right. Well, no one else has the
So
fucking.
Tom's he can read the room. He's feeling a little guilty. So he is.
You know what, man? Maybe I will take you up on that drink. What'd you say it was? 3 shots of whiskey? Yeah.
They're just lined up, and she's like, "The last one's in my belly button." And so, this is called the Midwest mating, you know.
Yes.
So Tom, he feels bad about all the whole he's misleading her, you know. He's not legit, and he's like, "I gotta ask you, like, have you ever considered marrying? What if she never comes back? Maybe, heaven forbid, something happened or she's no longer with. Have you ever thought about that? Would you want to know if she's alive or dead?" She's like, "Of course I want to know."
6 or 7 years. Girls getting the sizzle reel ready. She thought she was going to be a huge actor. 6, 7 years now. Every time the phone rings with that fucking cigarette burning in her hand and the whiskey shaking. Every time the phone rings, I imagine it's her.
I think about her every single day. And then so he realizes, all right, I got to give her the diary. So he goes back. He's like, "Can I check the room one more time?"
He doesn't hand it to her.
No,
yeah.
he's a coward about it. He like goes to the room and leaves he takes the photograph of Marianne.
Yeah.
And then leaves the diary.
All right, and now we know where our next lead is. Hollywood.
Hollywood swinging.
How
Not
many
swingers, swinging.
How many people would you say in Hollywood in 1999?
Oh, it was a boom year, 1999.
Well, The Mask came out 2 years earlier, so everybody was like, I can be an actor.
Jim Carrey fever was in
Yeah.
effect. 232,573.
That's a lot of people.
Hell yeah. Nuts to butts. That's how fucking close it was.
And we've got to do a montage to see all the people living in
A
Hollywood.
sleaze montage.
It's a sleaze montage. Dirty fucking Reeboks everywhere. We had one.
We see Paul Kersey in his knit cap and his pea coat just wandering
Yup.
around.
Way too hot for that, Paul Kersey. You look
Right.
like you stand out. We got fucking one guy, not hacky sacking, but tossing a hacky sack. 99 was my hacky sack year, so that's why I was offended.
He hadn't figured it out yet.
Yeah, well, clearly.
So he's hitting the streets. He's talking to runaways, homeless kids, anybody that looks like they're sleazy and drifter-ish.
And then, of course, Norman Reedus left us with that clue. She was going to work at it. Why am I doing Nick Cage voice? She was going to work at a titty bar. So he's like, okay, I'll check out some titty bars and shit.
Right. Nothing happens there, but then he stops in the neighboring adult bookstore. And it's like, maybe I can find some leads here because they have the because he doesn't buy like fucking Penthouse. He buys like the magazines that have like the call girl type shit in the back.
Yes. He's trying to find the local shit.
And like massage parlors and all that kind of shit. Like
these got the local ads and everything.
Right.
In it. Yeah, he doesn't want a national level.
So he just buys a giant stack of them.
Right, and he does go up to the counter. Even though this is a movie, he still keeps it true to life. And he says, yeah, these are for my friend. We're going to play a prank on him.
Yeah. And Joaquin Phoenix plays Max California. Yeah, sure. He's heard that one a million times.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
He looks like Tom looks to the side. He sees just a bunch of fucking gimp masks, and that calls him back to that movie.
Yeah, I of course had the Laserdisc version of this, and you get a further, like the camera's a little further out. You see what's in that glass cabinet there, and Murray, I gotta tell you, they had a Kinshasa case.
Whoa. They had the fucking Magnificent Seven?
That's right. The Magnificent
Seven. The only way you
Seven.
can hear what the Magnificent Seven is to listen to our Death Wish 3 episode available on YouTube and on our SoundCloud.
That's right. And right there on the top shelf, the Excelsior 9000.
Oh my God. The Incelsior.
The Incelsior,
5,000.
excuse me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think they made those anymore in 99. I
well-
thought they got discontinued after the 10 to Midnight murders.
Yeah, I thought they did too, but apparently...
And maybe it's vintage, Griff. We need to start selling Incelsior 5000. Old school sex toys.
Think about all the fucking gun nuts who would love to have one that replicate. We could do one that's an AR-15.
The kind of sex toys that are run on a car battery. Like that's
Right.
how old school they are.
Oh my God. This is going to be... We're going to make so much stupid money.
Crazy. So, this is where we meet Max California. What did you think about the look? He had the Wolverine hair.
Our coffee will make your dick hard and your stool soft. Boom.
I'm getting back to the movie.
Okay, go.
Max California. How do you feel about his look, Griff?
Well,
Do you imagine this is what a guy who worked in an adult bookstore would dress?
if you ask me, what does a cool guy who works at a porn store look like? It's this guy. He looks like Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day fame.
Which was very hot in 1999.
He's
He's
got
Wolverine hair.
He's got Wolverine hair. He curls it inward. Or I guess that was Prodigy at the time was doing that too. Because that music video scared me when I was 12. And so, yeah, I would have been scared of this guy. But then he's always wearing like women's shirts or something.
Yeah, very tight, form-fitting.
Because-
which was rare in the 90s.
Yeah.
He was an outlier.
They're like half-sleeve shirts. They go almost to his elbow. Like
Really? I thought he had three-quarter sleeves. He had half
three-quarter
sleeves?
goes over your elbow.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was wearing.
They go just to the elbow.
Okay.
So that's again why I'm like, are these women's shirts?
Could be.
Because they don't fit his arm correctly, and then they don't fit his belly correctly. So Joaquin Phoenix is just sticking that gut out there.
Right, and he's wearing leather pants.
Oh, of course he is.
And he's got a smut novel he's reading.
Right.
He's like, what you reading? And he just shows it's like Teenage Enema Freaks or something.
Right.
And then the cover kind of falls off, and we see, no, he's not. This is an educated man. He's reading Truman Capote's, or as somebody once told me and corrected me, Capote. I slapped the shit out of that person when they
Did
said
you?
that. Yes. I'm
Wow.
like, Capote.
It's Capote.
In cold blood.
In cold blood.
And only an educated man would read something like that.
Oh, Capote. You wouldn't want the filth around here to see you reading something highly intelligent like Capote.
I think that's what Max said. He's like, I don't want to, disappoint our customers.
It could have been either
by
of them
reading
delivering the
something.
line.
So this is where, once again, this is good movie shorthand. Tom's like, this guy knows shit. This guy's more than he appears. Like, I think I might need to use this guy.
He's a lawyer. He reads people immediately. He knows exactly how to dress them down and dress them back up.
So Tom goes back. He also said, do you have Holly Does Hollywood? Of course we got that.
We got 9,000 copies of it. They could not stop printing that movie.
So he goes back to the hotel room. He's pouring over that porn.
And that's when he gets the call from Amy,
his wife. She's like, "You haven't been calling. I thought you were supposed to call me every night."
Right. So we have not been keeping
Meanwhile,
track of it.
the fucking 8mm movie's playing again. This is his fucking millionth viewing of this.
We haven't been keeping too close a track of it, but there's a lot of cuts of him calling his wife in the movie just to check up.
Well, there's a lot of her calling and he's not picking up.
Well, it starts out with them, you know, calling. Oh, I've almost got this case. There's nothing. I'm not going to be able to do anything. And then as he gets further into it, he gets more distance with his wife.
Right, because
just showing
Well, he's just showing how he becomes consumed with his case.
Right. And so now he's sitting down, answers the phone, and he starts watching the movie, the 8mm again, and he says, I got to let you go. I'll call you back sometime. Hangs up on her. And he notices and freezes the front. I couldn't make, even with Laserdisc, I couldn't make out what the fuck we were supposed to be looking at.
Right. But he sees something. And he's like, I enhance. And like, even the Blade Runner technology is not going to figure this out. He's got to go somewhere.
Right.
So he goes back to that place.
I did appreciate that he went somewhere. And it looked like Epcot Center.
Yeah.
So
maybe it was.
It was the Deluxe Film Center or something.
I don't know, but they let you know that they have the most advanced technology around.
This sounded like the Steven Seagal build-up rap sheet thing.
Right. And she's like, and the best we could do is this. And we just see a back of a guy's head. That's it. She's like, we did the fucking most, we have year 2000. This is 1999. We have year 2000 level technology, and this is all we could get.
This is all we could do.
But he's got something.
He's got something.
He sees it. He knows that there was at least there was a guy doing the murders, a guy filming it, and another guy.
Right. 3 people involved. Well, 4, I guess, if you could include the filmer. So Tom, he's like, well, that kid at the porn shop, he clearly has my best chance of getting into the underbelly of the porn world. So I got to go back and talk to him.
So he goes back to visit him. He's like, I want to pay. You look like you're a smart kid. I want to pay you.
Do you remember me? You're back for that fucking battery-operated Excelsior 5000, right?
No. I'm a private investigator. And he pulls out his fucking PI thing. And then they go out. Like, Mac's like, let's go out and back.
Let's go back.
Walks out. He goes through the fucking porno booth aisle. Hey, stop jerking each other off in there.
Yeah, Larry probably had to do that.
There was right straight out real life, this guy licking the floor
with a fucking half on furry suit.
And then like Max does and they do it a few times in this movie. Are you a cop? Because you have to you don't have to do that. That's such a movie thing. You got to tell me you're a cop. I'm not a cop, I promise.
So Max, while they're walking back there, aside from all the cop bullshit and everything, he's insisting, if you got a kink, I've got a, oh shit, there was a good rhyme there, and a lead or whatever. Oh, there was such a good rhyme there, and I messed it up. But yeah.
Like, look, he's like, I'll give you $500 a day or a couple days worth of work. And he's like, how about 6? It's like, look, buddy, I know you're lucky to make fucking $400 a month working here. Take the money. And he's like, all right, but I got to haggle with you. You wouldn't respect me if I didn't haggle.
That's right. And so he agrees to it. And he's like, when's the next time you're available? I work real late tomorrow. Tomorrow's perfect. I'm out of here.
All right, see ya, Pops. Just don't call me Pops. That night, they're in the slimiest Zargth Alley you've ever seen. Drenched, dripping as much as our listeners are from us discussing this movie.
We haven't even talked about a sexual scene. We talk about the Excelsior and people are fucking dripping.
Right. That's our fucking sexy voices.
I mean, I heard that this suction power on the Excelsior 5000 enough to get a woman off, too.
Yeah.
That's how incredible it is. It's not. It's supposed to be made for men, and it still works on women.
Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. So they're walking, like, Max lays it out. He's like, look, let me handle it. Doesn't go, it's not film. No, be cool, man. This is some underground shit.
God, right? Literally best segment of the movie right here. This is it.
They do a little chit chat. We get to learn about Max. He's like, you seem pretty on the ball. Why are you working at this place? He's like, well, you know how it is. I came out to fucking Hollywood to get my fucking rock band on. I've been here 6 fucking years, still working on it.
I'm on my 4th band. We're trying to do like the Danzig industrial thing.
Right, that's the hottest thing right now.
Did you ever hear Danzig had a career before this? It seems weird to me.
But he's like, look, before we go into this fucking lair, I'm going to warn you that once you go down this kink spiral, you may never come back out. When you dance with the devil, he changes you. You don't change him.
That's right. So they enter Mexican porn apartment. Right. And I have no idea. What did Joel Schumacher think of? What has he seen? What has he done to build these sets that were the next few sets we're about to see?
I don't know.
This is amazing to me.
All right, we see there's some women, or obviously prostitutes, that are making the kissy faces at Tom.
There's like a fucking Danny Trejo looking like chubby kind of dude, long hair. He's got like a whip and he's just wearing little underoos on. Yeah. Like, there's so much great fucking
They
weird.
go into like a kitchen or something. There's piles of VHS tapes everywhere.
Yeah, it looked like they were an outside kitchen or an indoor. It was incredible. Like the work that was in here.
And it's like it's this filth, kiddie porn, all the bestiality.
Yes, that's right. The what?
All this.
They're like, we're afraid to sell smut, but yeah, kiddie porn's right there. Because no one's harmed in that.
Here's the thing. So we just went through this thing where Max is like, look, be cool. And he's like, excuse me, El Snuffo. You know, and the guy.
I said smut again.
And then fucking the guy pulls a gun on fucking Tom. Oh, cool, brother, be cool. You know, and like Max is like, whoa.
Well, the big problem with that is because he doesn't speak Spanish, so he tells Max, tell this guy I want a smut film or snuff film. And then Max has to relate it to Spanish. So
Right.
Max was saying, be cool. Don't just ask everybody if they have a snuff film. And then he tells them, ask him if he has a snuff film. Max just goes along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just keeps saying El Snuffo. And it's like, dude.
Pellicula El Snuffo?
The guy pulls a gun and says, get the fuck. He's like, well, bro, he like takes all of Tom's money.
Right.
And they kick him the fuck out.
That's right. And they're like, well, let's not, count our wounds tonight. Let's fucking go to the next
He's
place.
like, I've heard that there's a snuff porn swap meet going on right now.
Well, yeah, this is, your weekend flea market in the weird place where everyone puts shit out. It rains all over it, and they still sell it for full price.
They're in like this dank basement with like fucking 20-foot ceiling. It's one of those fucking Ninja Turtle fucking sewer layers.
I was gonna say this is Punisher's hangout. Oh, what's his name's Punisher?
Dolph Lundgren.
Lundgren's Punisher.
Well, he would kill all these motherfuckers.
Well, yeah, if he were there. But this is 2 years
this
later.
Is literally a dark, like before the dark web, people, if you wanted to get your smut on, you had to go to a dark web swap meet.
Yeah.
It's literally a swap meet. People have card tables set up with their display of fucking filth, signs, kids, midgets, dogs.
Yep.
You know.
Again, it's like if you've ever gone to like a modern record store sale, none of this shit's organized.
That was the worst part.
That's the worst part.
Worst
that
part.
I saw.
Also, it's worse when you got people who don't know how to grade stuff properly.
Yeah.
Like he's like, there's some foxing on the edge here. This isn't mint. This isn't near mint.
This is bullshit.
This is very fine at best.
Very fine at best.
So, yeah, and they got the laser discs and shit. They got everything.
As we're, of course, walking in here, Max is explaining again, look, this is a big old porn swap. There's a lot of porn zombies, people who just, they can't watch Regis and Kelly. They watch porn.
Well, but the thing is, they can't even watch regular porn. They got to watch the sick shit. They can't even, they were, like you said, they're zombies to regular porn. They're immune.
Right. You may have heard about this thing called the internet, Tom. Yeah. It's going to ruin porn for the modern swap. Like, those are the modem.
The purists.
The modem swappers is what he called them because he used a modem to get on the internet. Modem swappers. Thank you for that. So he's like, these are the old school swappers, though. And soon enough, this market will dry up. And Max
Except when we start our old porn shop.
Except for the 2 shops that exist on 8 Mile and our shop in Brooklyn, which will be the shop.
Right.
8mm laser disc.
People who
VHS.
People who work at our shop will have to dress like Joaquin Phoenix in this movie.
Yes,
they
they will.
Women's shirts.
Yes, they will.
Yeah.
Everybody, man,
Yeah.
woman, non-gendered,
Yeah, it's unisex.
all of them,
Yeah.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
No locks in the bathroom either.
Oh, of
Just
course
saying.
not. Of course not. You never know. You never know. And of course, there's a glory hole in every wall.
Of course.
But do not stick your dick out in our store.
Yes. That's where we draw the line. No floor lickers at our show.
Oh my God, no floor lickers.
So Max sees an old friend, starts chatting with her. Tom's just browsing. He sees like he's leafing through some kiddie porn, disgusted as you should be.
Right.
And then he sees there's a guy like on like a dais almost.
Right. Again, sewer systems are fucking weird. He's on a pedestal.
Right, because he sells the good shit, the way beyond shit.
Yes. So he's got a handwritten on like a beer case. It's probably Bud Light after he threw away his cans because it's gone too woke.
Right.
And he carved off the one side and wrote on it, way out there. And he's got like 4 movies or something.
Right, like, so what are you selling this way beyond? I got the hottest shit around. Rape, battery, assault, Robert Ginty. Just having sex.
You hear 9 people vomit in the background at the utterance of Robert Ginty.
This is called our cool down moment because you guys are getting too aroused. So we just throw Ginty out there, and automatically you're all limp. You notice you're all limp right now.
Yeah, you notice you're all
Yeah,
limp.
well, we're gonna build you back up. Don't
You
worry.
notice you're all limp.
2 more hours to go.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I want the hard stuff. Where do you got that? Schnuff? That shit don't exist.
He gets pissed.
Yeah.
He fucking flips up his little card table. He's got a good game of solitaire. He almost won. He flips it over. There ain't no fucking snuff in this world.
It's an urban legend. You probably think Faces of Death is real.
Huh. Yeah,
You, sir, you make me sick. Now I'm gonna go back to watching a woman blow a dog. Out of my sight.
I got some good donkey porn in the back to watch.
So, Tom's just milling about, reading the room. There's a
Communal
screening room. Yeah.
A communal peep room.
Right.
Because there's like 8 people in
And
here.
these are the customers we're gonna want to get, Griff, because they got to see the celluloid. They don't want to see just a VHS. They don't want to be like you're at school where you had the TV on the cart with
Yeah.
the VHS. This is fucking art.
Yes,
right?
it is art. It's projected on a fucking concrete slab. It's beautiful.
I thought it was
It's
like a sheet or something.
You got fucking sewer, pipes dripping on you. Like that's your lubricant that you're using. People are like hand over shoulder with other people just jerking off together. There's women, there's men, there's trans. Everybody is under. It's like this has got to be. I'm sorry, we kind of borrowed off this idea a little bit, but this has got to be one of our future chains. We got to do an underground one.
Yeah.
We got to do an underground one.
We'll call it Way Beyond.
Way Beyond. That works.
And they're watching an enema movie, by the way.
Yeah, you gotta.
Which allegedly is a real movie they used.
Oh, good.
So yeah,
Joel Schumacher was like, "I'm not actually filming that."
No.
Yeah.
They're recycling. So yeah, and he's just like looking at these people and just disgust. He's like, "What the fuck have I gotten myself into?"
Right.
So now I guess there's even a sicker floor below.
Right. Again, this sewer goes deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're in the filth. And it's an S&M place. Everyone's leathered out.
Right. This is Max again takes Tom away and he's like, "Hey, we're going to go a level deeper. I got clearance. Are you ready for this? We're not in the right wardrobe."
And you know what their clearance is? There's a big fucking Mexican guy watching it. Are you a cop? Because you got to tell me if you're a cop.
Shut the fuck up, Larry.
And then they just walk by. And then he's like, "Well, you got to tell me." Tom's like, "Shut the fuck up, Larry."
Hey, Larry, fuck off.
And they meet this guy. Of course, he's German. The sickest porn, always from Germany, if not Japan.
He's got a cricket bat with the holes drilled through it. He's slapping it on his hand.
There's a crushing bar over in which you want to hear that, you got to listen to our Ninja 3 Domination with Paul London episode. Know what a crushing bar is.
They have a video loop of Rikishi and Yokozuna sitting their squatting on people's faces, doing some of that shit.
Wow, that is some fucking Way Beyond shit. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
And this guy claims because like Max, this guy claims he's got the real shit.
Right.
And he's like, $1,200? And he's like, "You shared $1,000. I know, but I raised the price to see you angry. It's sexier that way."
Tom doesn't
So he's
care.
like twisting his nipples.
Oh
and
yeah,
saying it.
yeah. He is just
And Tom just hands him it with disgust. That's what the most disgusting thing is. The guy tried to rip him off.
right. And of course, when he handed the money, he said, "No homo."
Because we learn later on there's honor among pornographers.
That's right.
Okay.
We're gonna
And
learn
perverts.
that. It's very clear.
So they buy it and they sit down to watch it.
No homo.
He's like, before I put this in, we got to say together at the same time.
1, 2, 3.
No
homo.
All right, it's not gay now. So they put it on, and it's this woman being strangled. And he's like, Max is like, this got to be the Philippines. I know that's their thing, strangling. David Carradine.
This is all too real, but it's definitely the Philippines.
Right. And they're like, oh, they're kind of like disgusted by it, but they're watching it, and they're like, all right, put the other movie on.
Right.
And why do they got to watch a snuff film?
Because they got multiple movies from that guy.
Okay.
And
They got
apparently
two
they're done by
movies
the
from the guy.
two. And apparently they're done by the same person, so they're like, we got to watch the other one to see if it's another snuff film.
Because they're still not sure if it looks real. Because he's like, doesn't look like she's breathing. So they put on another one, and it's this like Filipino woman, like a blonde wig.
She's
and
pressed against a wall,
Yeah.
hands over her
I
head.
think they're fucking her. I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a guy dancing a dick along, and she's, struggling.
And then a guy comes into frame with a machete,
Yeah.
and they start slashing her up. And they're
They
Wait
get
a minute.
a close up on her face again.
And it's like, that's the same woman from the last movie. We got snuffed.
Snuff 2, the resurrection.
Fucking pissed.
They paid $1,200 for non-snuff films.
Yeah. They paid for basically Faces of Death.
Yeah,
They paid for.
that's right. $1,200.
So I think they're hanging out at Max's apartment, and Tom notices a poster for a band called Hard Spank. And he's like, hey, I heard their demos. They're pretty good. He's like, well, that was my band.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Drifted apart. Danzig went into industrial. The scene changed.
It's like, what's a great? You're on the ball. Why are you in the porno business? It's like, look, man, I don't buy it or endorse it. I just point the way. It's better than pumping gas.
Again, what we just
Pumping ass is better than pumping gas.
Pumping ass is better than I mentioned this a little while ago. I don't endorse it. I don't get involved. I show up for 8 hours. He's fucking in the underworld of pornography. He knows the sewers. He knows the Mexican apartment that he tells us changes every day.
He knows the secret of the ooze.
He knows the secret of the U. Oh, God. That takes a whole new meaning now. Oh, my childhood is ruined.
Yeah.
That's why they're anthropomorphic.
And he's like, and Tom, I can tell the look in your eyes. Yeah, you weren't turned on by that shit we just watched, but you definitely weren't turned off either.
Tom, I think you're becoming Judas in your mind.
Next morning, Tom heads out to like a homeless shelter, a runaway shelter.
Right.
And he's asking around.
Again, he's still got to do his detective work.
Right.
He's done with
He's checking in every few days with
I
Mrs.
think
Christian.
it's daytime. He's got to check in with some of the more daytime leads instead of just constantly going to underground porn places.
And also, once again, we got to keep this story moving along because this makes no sense either. He meets a nun who's running the shelter. It's like, hey, do you know this girl? She's like, yeah, that's Mary. She left her suitcase. We've kept it for 7. We haven't opened it. We just kept her suitcase for 6 to 7 years.
On the bed. We never let anybody sleep on the bed either. Just like her mom, Janet. They're like, yeah, we saved her spot forever.
So he's like, you mind if I look through this? I griff through it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Who the fuck cares?
We've
We've only been keeping this here for 7 years.
6
We don't
to
give a
7
shit.
years.
Yeah.
Opens it up, finds some rosary beads, a little fucking teenage poem, and several phone numbers, including one for a place called Celebrity Films.
Interesting.
I think we found a lead.
So Tom makes some calls and heads out, and sure enough, we're gonna meet up with one Eddie Poole.
Right, played by James Gandolfini, Tony Soprano. Great sleazy guy. He's channeling the character he played in True Romance, too.
That's
Another
right.
sleazy guy.
We saw a very similar scene in Body Double, where you have to walk in. And
Yeah,
meet
he's
the
like
porn
he's
director.
like yeah he's not a porn director. He a talent scout, like
Let's
a
call
talent
him
agent.
yeah, we'll call him a producer.
Yeah, and so he, there are all these girls waiting for their big shot, and fucking.
Ha.
I didn't get that. Tom just walks right in. Hey, I'm next. I'll just be a minute. Goes in. Who are you? What do you want?
Hey, have you seen this girl before?
I never seen her.
He stares at it, and you see his aggravated face turns into like a concerned face, And then he wraps it back around to aggravated face.
Tom's reading the eyes.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know who you're talking to you. Who is this girl?
Well, I showed you the picture, and I've stared at it. Get the fuck out of here.
What am I? Yeah. Goes out, Tom leaves.
They're just in downtown Hollywood. There's abandoned buildings everywhere.
Yeah.
So he goes across the street, calls up the realtor, and is looking at the place across the street.
Right. And it's like an abandoned sweatshop. There's like sewing machines in this room. This will be perfect. He rents them right across from the office of Eddie Poole.
So he's got the view looking down on Eddie's office.
So he stakes the place out. He's got the binocs. He's watching.
And at some point, I guess this is in the first night, but
Yeah,
he's doing the binocular thing here. Amy attempts to call him, and now he's completely separated from being a husband. He's no longer Tom, husband and father.
He's Tom the Avenger.
Exactly.
So once he watches Eddie check out for the night, he immediately breaks into his office, taps his phone.
Yeah.
So now he's going to get some info.
So he starts listening into his calls the next day. He finds out that Eddie's got like a mission to go on that night. He's going out for a shoot at some place. Right. And we follow him that night over to like a weird kind of abandoned mansion.
Yeah, this was the Lionheart mansion, dude.
It was. I noticed it, yeah.
And because we know that because there's a half-filled pool.
Right. I would have wrote it out in the notes, but it's just, you did write it out in the notes.
I did.
It's so fucking long. There's so many fucking details. Like, I had to omit some things so we could finish.
So, yeah, they're filming a standard porn. No snuff film going on.
No snuff,
usual.
yeah.
Just guys sucking a girl sucking a big black dick.
That's right.
And he stumbles.
We see a full penis and butt in this.
Yeah. We're happy with that?
Yeah, equal representation.
So, equity. So, Tom's never seen a dick that big, so he stumbles.
Yep.
Some guy hears it. Tom runs.
I like how you give. You're a huge Nick Cage fan. I like how you gave him the out. He hasn't seen a dick that big. He stumbled. He went, wow, that's a big dick.
Wowie, wow. BBC, big black cock. And then the guy goes, hey, show some respect here. These are actors. They're not pieces of meat. Why you watching?
Oh, why you watch? So he comes out, and Tom hides in the bushes. The guy walks over, and Tom pushes him into the Lionheart pool.
Right. And since he ain't Jean-Claude, he just fucking fumbles in there.
It's 6 inches of water, and the guy drowns in it.
So the next morning, Tom's like... He's like, I got to catch these guys. I can't wait around.
Right.
I'm going to make the first move. The best defense is a good offense.
That's right.
So he calls up Eddie. Hey, Eddie, I know you did that snuff film.
I love this. You're doing such a great Nicolas Cage menacing voice. I know what... I've seen you. I know what you did last night.
Yeah. I know what you did last summer. You killed a girl. I'm going to get you. And then fucking, who is this? Who is this talking to me? Who is I don't know what they're talking about. Hangs up, immediately calls somebody. He's freaked out.
And
now.
again, Tom has the wire tapped. He's watching him with the binoculars. He's listening. He's reading his body emotion and everything. And Ed is it worked. Even though his fucking menacing, like, I know what you did last summer voice was terrible and not fucking convincing at all.
It almost put you to sleep.
It worked. Yeah, it did.
And he's just like, somebody knows about the film. Somebody's got to get on a plane. Shut up, you paranoid fuck. It's nothing.
Boom.
Click.
Dial tone.
So Tom is freaking the fuck out.
Well, Ed is. Tom,
Yes,
however,
Ed, sorry.
is he turns to his table of computer devices, and he's got a machine that listens to the tones that Ed punched into his phone, and can translate it to phone numbers.
Right. Well, we learned about that in our Tippy Tap for Easter.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Right.
Did he call up Winslow?
What's that?
Did he call up Michael Winslow?
He might have.
I did hear some boop 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 boop.
He might. Yeah.
So yes, he's got some super caller ID, and it says D Velvet on that line that Eddie was talking with.
I love that. I love that they ran it through.
I love that he uses his porno name for his
phone number.
Phone number, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, he was one of the early people to be like, hey, I want a phone number that works for.
Or maybe he was born to be a pornographer because his name is really Dino Velvet.
That might be it. I was watching a baseball game earlier. It was based out of Minnesota, and there was a lawyer over there who's got the phone number. It was like 718-444-4444.
Won't forget it.
It would seem fake.
So Tom goes to Max because he knows everything about the porn world. We just know that. And he's like, do you know this D Velvet? It's like, you mean Dino Velvet? Producer, director, weirdo. The Jim Jarmusch of S&M. That Dino Velvet?
The Jim Jarmusch, the Neil Breen, the fucking...
Oh my. He's a Neil...
John D. Hart of
S&M?
pornography.
Of S&M.
Of S&M.
Hardcore S&M. He does all that rough shit, man. He pushes the limit. He goes to the farthest you can. Barely legal.
Gigi
All right.
Allen throws up while watching a Dino Velvet movie. I'm glad that. Oh my God.
He's based out of Manhattan, though. I guess we found a new lead. Why only fly first class?
That's right, and I'm gonna need more money.
So they fly into New York, and they go to the shitty rundown fucking. It's the fucking Exterminator Hotel.
It
the
was?
sheets,
Yeah.
and he's not even willing to let Max have the $5 sheets.
No, he gets himself the $5 sheets,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, you can buy them with your own money."
And Max is like, "Why the fuck are we staying here?"
Why are you questioning me? I brought you here to work. I want you to hit those streets. Go to every underground pornography station you can go to and get receipts.
Get the Velvet tapes and get those receipts because we're gonna write this off.
So Tom goes back to his room and he calls up Mrs. C. And
She's got the info because remember he said check out his financial record.
from 6 to 7 years ago.
Right. And she's like, I learned that he had 5 accounts
Cash accounts.
between November 1992 and March 1993. He made one check from each account, and it all comes up to, let me see, adjusted for inflation, $1 million.
That's really interesting. Thanks for doing that. I'm going to have to really think about where that goes. But here's the thing, Mrs. C. I've got a very big potential lead into the person who filmed the film. I just need another $50K in expenses.
Whatever you need, young man.
You're doing such a great job. I wish you were here so I... Wait, why am I doing this?
So I can pinch your cheek.
Thank you.
So Max comes back with every fucking Dino Velvet movie available. They're watching them.
Again, no homo.
Right.
No homo. They
Well,
clearly
there's
stated.
no sex in it. This is hardcore S&M. There's just whippings and shit going on.
Yeah, you're right. But there was fleshy butts.
But there was no even nudity because there was a
There
girl
wasn't.
like in bra and panties getting whipped.
Yeah, you're right. Well, to some, that's still very
Riff.
erotic.
Are you in S&M?
I don't think so.
I'm not either. Because this is my whole thing with S&M. First of all, I think I explained it on a previous episode. If you've experienced real violence, S&M is just corny cosplay. Like, it's so, like, to me, I find it corny.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. I've been in real fights, so I'm like, this is silly to me. I mean,
Yeah.
people get off on it. Because to me, it's too performative to me. It's just like, it's cosplay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't turn me on at all.
Right.
And, because, I mean, when you think about it, the basic tenet of S&M is a relationship. S&M relationship is master slave.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in being either.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to be subbing to anybody. And I'm hard enough living my life. I'm not going to tell other people like what they need to be doing.
Right.
So it doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah, no, I get that. It seems like a weird...
I mean, I don't know. I find the whole, because I mean, really, at the end of the day, the whole concept of S&M is slavery, and I find that repulsive. To be honest with you, like the real. So why would I want to fake that?
Right.
You know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I want to shame anyone listening who's into heavy and S&M. That's your thing.
That's
Do
not...
it.
Hey, Sexual Thriller Month is not about shaming you.
No.
It's Murray's 2
I'm just
cents.
letting you know that's not one of my kinks, people.
Murray's 2 cents. If it were, especially if it comes into like, well, let's put on the whole outfits and everything.
Yeah, a lot of work.
That reminds me of everything I hate about like a scene, where it's like I got to put on the outfit to fit in with the scene, and I hate that shit. So if you're into some like, you know, whipping and that kind of shit, cool for you. If you're like putting on the outfit and like doing, I'm like, man, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. We're just not committed, I guess, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, you know what?
We're lazy.
It's probably our own fault. You know, whatever. It's like we're not that good at the, you know, getting off on that kind of thing. That's for other people.
Yeah, it's just not my thing. If it's your thing, fine. I just don't care.
Anyways,
all right. So it's pretty tame. I didn't think I guess we're an R-rated movie. We can't really show anything, but I guess it's really intense for an R-rated movie.
But what we do see, the common thread throughout all the Dino Velvet movies, machine. Well, actually, Tom is watching him alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom sees the hand with the fucking tattoo.
And again, Tom's going full method here. Tom is in his mesh tank top.
Right.
In his dilapidated Fleabag apartment with his clean sheets just wrapped over him.
Black lipstick.
Smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer, watching fucking what are supposed to be hardcore pornography. And yeah, he's watching through these films and he's realizing there's a guy, the guy, in all of Dino's movies.
With the fucking tattoo. So he runs over to Max's room, gets him out of bed.
Max!
Who is this guy? You mean he says like a
Machete?
Yeah, I think he's in all of his shit. Machete? No, machine. That's the machine. Who is this guy? Next morning, they get out. This is a nice metaphor. The work with the Joel Schumacher. They go to the meat market.
Yeah.
Meat market, because the porn industry is the ultimate meat market. That's where Dino's offices are.
And remember, he's been calling all these people watching all these movies, all this pornography, pigs. And what do we see outside of his apartment? The butchers wheeling in just fucking racks of pigs.
And Max is like, I knew in Manhattan, everybody wears women's fucking shirts. I fit in perfectly. Why didn't I come here instead of Hollywood?
They're walking by two alternative women, and he's like, look at this. These chicks fucking dig me. They like me here.
So they go up to the place. There's the guy can be buzzed in. It says D Velvet, and it's just like, hey, is Dino Velvet there? Buzz off, creep. We got a large sum of money. If he doesn't want it, we'll leave.
We'll just split it amongst ourselves and go the other way.
So they walk in. Dino, he's on the fucking phone. He's arguing. He's like, bitch, why did you fucking shave your pussy? I needed a bush. And he's just fucking irate. He's got to get the merkin out. He's fucking pissed off.
A name I wrote down because I was like, oh, this will come up. This is the clue. Joel Schumacher. Laura. You ever hear about a Laura again?
Laura Palmer.
Well, wow.
Dino Velvet killed Laura Palmer. People, you don't need to watch Twin Peaks. I just solved it for you.
You just solved it. Good job, Murray.
So, yeah, there's this weird fucking office. Everything's velvet, of course, you know. And he's got like mannequins and all this kind of art shit.
Right.
He's an artist. He's not a tour. He's not a fucking pornographer.
Vintage popcorn machine in the corner.
Do you like? Oh, you're one of those kettle guys, right? This is the good shit.
This is the OG
And he gets
shit.
stuff. He's like, I get the gourmet Orville Redenbacher.
That's right. The oil that I cook it in has lead in it.
It's KY is what he cooks it in.
Even better.
And he's got the fucking sleazy sculpted goatee.
Oh, it's great. Oh,
The casting for the sleazy guys is perfect. I give Joel Schumacher
100%. Again, the layers. He made everything look dreary, but this guy's layer just oozes of creep.
So Tom can tell this guy loves to have his ass kicked. So he immediately in flattery mode. He's like, I hear you're the best. I love all your pictures. I've seen them all. Oh, yeah? Well, tell me what's your favorite?
I can't name a favorite. I just got to say it's the fucking...
Well, Max comes in with a save. He's like,
yeah.
Black Spider butt fuck. That's a great one.
Black Spider butt fuck. The 8-legged fucking bitch you put in that movie. The prosthetics alone were worth the price of admission.
Tom, like I said, these guys are perfect team. I wanted to see more of these guys together.
Yeah, this was actually cool hearing them work people.
Right. And he just picks up. He's like, oh, yeah, I love the lighting in that movie. You know, he just picks up where Max leaves off.
He's not about, like, titles and all that. He's like, I love the real. I love getting my hard cock off to, like, the sound of a reel right next to my ear, the warmth of the bulb on me. I'm into that, and you give me that, and that's you. Superflux 544.
And he's just like, yes, I am pretty great, aren't I? I think I can work out something with you. I'll give you $5,000 up front and $5,000 when the film's done.
However, I do have some stipulations.
Oh, tell me, what are your rules?
I'm excited to work with you. What are you thinking?
I want to watch. I can work with that. I gotta have the machine. The machine has to be in it. Oh, that's gonna cost you more to get the machine. $7,000 more. And he's just like, So, hey, if you can get the machine, I'm up for it.
Leaves him $7K right there, a check or something. I don't know. I don't
No,
remember.
it was a envelope full of cash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
He's like, I'll keep that here. That's a deposit.
And he's like, call me, but only after 10 p.m. So now, it's like, and then as they're walking out, Dino just cups fucking Tom's face. I love your face, the way it catches the light.
There was a little moment earlier, too, where when they arrived in New York, Max is filming the whole thing and turns the camera towards Tom, and Tom freaks the fuck out.
Right.
I don't want to be on film, ever.
Right.
Don't do this to me.
I wouldn't want to be involved with this either.
And so here we go. We're in Dino's office, and he's trying to film him.
Yeah.
And so he's got to keep that calm now.
Right. He covers the lens. Like, I'm behind the camera. And he's like, whatever, you're paying. So he's fine. All right. So now they go to a bar. And this is the breakup. Where he's like,
the big
he's got the final lead. He's going to meet the machine finally.
That's right.
So he's like, look, you're a great kid. Here's all the money, plus some extra, and a ticket home. What are you talking about? We're a team. We're gonna no. This is too dangerous. Look. You're a good kid. You're smart. I want to use you more. I want you to be my fucking L.A. hookup.
That's right.
And he's like, no. What the fuck are you talking about?
We're gonna do this together. Us, me and you, good cop, good cop. We're so good at this.
We're partners, as the gyro captain from Road Warriors says. And he's just like, no. He's like, oh, all right, I'll go. But look, the devil's waiting on you, Tom Wells. You look out. I can see it. You're getting too deep.
So Tom had made a call. He's got another meeting that he has arranged at the docks. I don't know if this was supposed to be the 10 p.m. call or whatever, but whatever. He makes an arrangement at the docks.
Right.
And it's to meet with Velvet, so I imagine that's the call he was making.
Well, I think off camera they set everything up. So now they're going to go filming.
There's just like a random shot of him hanging up on somebody. The docks? Okay, 3 p.m., I'll do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's...
So we're at the abandoned docks. Apparently, this is a place where Dino's worked before because he's got like a crossbow target, like a crucifix set up.
Yeah.
They got the bed set up. They have the accoutrements. They have the knives.
This bed better be fucking bolted down to that floor, by the way, because I'm about to be angry about it.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's on wheels, I think. It's like a medical bed.
And I'm angry about it.
And as he walks in, he sees there he is, the man of the hour, the tower of power, too sweet to be sour. The machine sitting on that bed, wearing his mask, wearing his leather vest.
I love it, just looking innocent, just sitting there like, hey, I'm ready for my scene. Legs crossed, hands over his lap.
Do you know what is my motivation? No, he doesn't talk at all. He's a mystery man.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad Joel Schumacher was like, this guy does not talk.
And he's just, Dino's just shooting his crossbow at this target. Hey, my producer's here.
I'm noticing the machine. Great. Glad we got him. I'm noticing you. Great. Glad you're here. Where are the girls?
Yeah, and why are all these knives out here? And then Velvet goes, get rid of your gun.
Girls are always late. Don't worry about it. They'll be here. Actually, I think I hear them, and they drive the car right up into this room.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's a room. I don't know what. It's like a warehouse.
I don't know
what it is.
It's like an abandoned warehouse, but they have a ramp for
and
cars.
A limo drives in.
Yeah, and he's like, yes.
And then Dino tells him, lose the gun. And he's like, what? And Dino figured him out, man. Why? Because first, who gets out? Eddie. And he's like, I think he punches Tom.
He comes up and punches the shit out of him.
You motherfucker, fucking with me. And then it's kind of like, Tom's like, how the fuck did they know?
Right.
And then walks out
Mr. Longdale.
Yes, Mrs. Christian's lawyer from the beginning of the movie. Oh my God, he was involved.
The whole time he's been calling Mrs. C, this guy's probably been intercepting the calls, listening in, hearing everything. He's been involved.
Right. And he this made no sense. They handcuffed Tom.
To the bed.
That's
not bolted down.
And then they tell him, go get the film. Because they pull in Max. Max beat the fuck up. He's like got duct tape on his mouth. They set him up in front of.
Bloodied up.
They set him in front of that crucifix target.
Crossbow, yeah.
And he's like, get the fucking film. He wants that 8mm film.
We're going to kill the kid if you don't get the film. And then Velvet pulls out the pictures of Tom's wife and kid.
Right.
And is like, oh, yeah. And if you're not going to be fucking kind, we're not only going to kill Tom or Max, but we're going to go after your wife and kid,
Yeah,
too.
he's like, I can make such a great film with these two here.
Yeah.
And he's, so he's being real threatening. And he's like, so they handcuff him. Then they immediately unhandcuff him.
Right.
So he can go get the film because they assume for some reason that he'd have it on him.
Right.
So this is where Longdale's like, Longdale, you take him out to get the fucking film. We'll be here guarding Max.
Right. They tell him, and if you don't bring us the film, not only are we going to kill Max, but we're going to fuck him first and then kill him. He's like, no.
And we're going to film it.
You didn't say no homo.
So Longdale has to, now he does his villain monologue where he explains everything. He's just like, yeah, why couldn't you just leave it alone?
Right.
Don't
you think these rich people, I'm not rich myself. These rich people, they don't ask us to be like them. They ask us to do the things they want but can't do themselves.
Right.
We bring them the shit.
We're just servants to these
That's
people.
right.
And for the right price, I'll do it.
You've been sticking your nose through their gates forever, and you saw the opportunity. You're bending over, kissing Mrs. C's feet. She doesn't have feeling in her feet, Tom.
So Longdale reveals, like, look, first Mr. Christian wanted me to just get a snuff film, but they're a fucking urban legend. But when you got enough money, you can get anything you want made. Right. So we decided we were going to make our own.
Right.
So it turns out Longdale was like the middleman between Dino and all this shit.
Right. And Dino, by the way, when Longdale comes up and when they're like, you're going to be the liaison, you're going to take Tom to go see Mrs. C or get the film and everything and bring it back. Longdale's like, why do I have to? I hate you, Longdale. I fucking hate you. That's why you're going to. So there's tension between these two.
Yeah.
And so now we're getting the classic Nick Cage. Nick Cage has it in his contract in every movie to have a freak out scene. Why? Why would you do this to an innocent young girl?
Because he could.
He had the money.
So they go to Tom's car, open the trunk where the 8mm film is. Tom calmly like palms a knife and then grabs the thing, which makes no sense because he never uses it later on, but he does palm a knife that he grabs. And then they march him back to Dino. Oh, my film. And then Dino starts, he's like, look, this is the film.
There was one other Longdale moment that was great because after he's done, he's like, when this is all settled, I'll profit from the situation and I'll move on. Longdale's a creep.
Yeah, he's like, I heard from this guy named Epstein. He's got an island he wants me to work on.
You know the middle management type people who are always selling out the, like the underlings, the supposed underlings, the people who should be more akin with for the upper beings who are just like, yeah, no, fuck these people or for us. We'll make you one of us. That's Longdale.
They always fall for it and it never happens. It's like every underling of Trump is that way.
Exactly.
He betrays everyone.
They're like,
and
we'll
yet they
suck
all, I'm going to be the guy he's going to take.
I'll suck on his teat and he'll take me under his wing. No, it never fucking happens, Longdale.
This is why I totally believe this kind of shit happens in real life. Because think of fucking Epstein Island. I don't know if anybody got killed on Epstein Island, but some fucked up shit happened on that island between big Democrats and big Republicans.
Yes.
All rich people.
Yes. I'm
sorry.
know
there was some raping going on. There was some child molestation going on. Maybe not like little kids, but like 14, 15-year-olds. That shit happened.
If this episode's not on YouTube, you might know why if you listen to the podcast version. But I don't know if we'll get killed. Because being super conspiratorial, I feel like that is exactly what happened on Epstein Island.
Is it conspiratorial or is it just like, obviously that's what happens?
Well, it seems like the obvious thing because it's like they had flight records of all this shit. And then suddenly the guy disappeared. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We won't do this.
Sometimes he gets sad and takes his own life.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what happened.
That's right. And then the other person who was involved in it.
By the way, Griff and I have no issues with depression at all. If we something happens to us, fucking take it to QAnon. That's all I'm saying.
Right. That's
all right.
Right.
Back to the movie. So Longdale brings it back. Dino checks. He's like, this is the film. He starts unraveling it. And then he pulls out the lighter fluid. And Tom's distraught. He's like, that's my only evidence. So He's now once again chained back to this bed.
Right. Bed that's not bolted down.
Not bolted down. And Dino sets it on fire, and he's like, "You have no proof. You're fucked, dude.
Everything is fucked."
And then he's like, "Well, just let us go." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, sure." And he just nonchalantly shoots Max with a crossbow, kills him. Well, then, he
he shot
and
Max
then
with it.
Machine comes up and slashes his throat.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
They wreck poor
And
old
then
Max.
he has another Nick Cage freakout scene.
Right.
No! Why'd you do it?
And then this is where we get Tom, who starts getting mad at everybody in the room. No, why'd you do it? And then he goes over to, he's yelling across at Longdale, was it really worth $1 million?
And then Dino's like, what? What the fuck?
Eddie's even more pissed. $1 million? I got fucking $500.
And Dino's like, and I got 1,000. What the fuck? And of course, that fucking Longdale slimy fuck would have pocketed all the goddamn money.
So he's standing with his back to the limo, and he's like, all right, everybody, settle down. Let's listen here. Let's listen real close
and
here.
then Dino says the best line. If there's no honor between perverts and pornographers, the whole business will fall apart. He says the truest words ever spoken.
Great. Believe it. Yeah. There will be another Dino Velvet someday. Eddie, drop your gun.
Kick it over to me.
Longdale pulls out his gun. He's got it held on everybody. Of course, Dino's got his crossbow, and he's even, lowering it. And he's just like, what the fuck is this, Longdale? Do you really want to fucking do this right now? And Longdale's
he tells Eddie to kick the gun, and he kicks the gun underneath the limousine.
car.
Yeah,
and it goes all the way on the other side.
And then, Dino's totally cool. He's just like, come on.
I fuck you. I takes the money, to use a Big Lebowski
And
line.
then as he goes to, drop it, it was, dunk, shoots fucking Longdale in the heart.
Right in the heart.
Longdale shoots off a gun. It shoots Dino in the neck. And then Dino's chill about this. Like, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm dying this way. It's so uncinematic. It's so lame.
Machine,
Kill them all.
just kill them all.
And that's his cue. Machine just grabs one of those fucking Ginsu knives off the tray.
All right. Metal Militia started playing too. Right off Metallica's Kill 'Em All album.
Wow. And I thought it was Search and Destroy.
Yeah, it would make more sense.
And Nick, he grabs something of Tom grabs
Tom. Okay.
Yeah, Tom grabs something off the tray. It wasn't. I thought it was like an ice pick or something. It wasn't like a knife.
Yeah, it fell over. He can't get away from this bed. Not bolted down to the floor. Is a flimsy little mattress and box spring set.
Yeah.
Can't pull it anywhere. He's like, oh, I'm anchored to the ground. He fucking reaches, grabs something. Machine comes charging at him with a knife. And Tom uses whatever he picked up and jams it in this guy's
Machine's
stomach.
Machine collapses. Eddie's running for that gun. His gun is underneath the car, so he can't reach it. He's got those stubby little Italian fingers.
Yeah.
Little sausage fingers.
All right.
And while that's going on, Tom is trying to grab for his gun.
Right. But they made him empty out every bullet in the clip.
Right. But there's one in the chamber.
Except the one in the chamber.
So he gets the hold of his gun. Machine's kind of laying there. He's ready to pounce on Tom. Eddie's trying to grab his gun. I'll shoot you in the back, Eddie. Stop. And then he's like, he's only got one bullet.
Yeah. So Eddie's freaking out. Tom's trying to tell Machine to take his mask. Take your mask
Take
off.
off your mask. Take it off.
Let me see. Because everyone's like, wait, was this Scooby-Doo all of a sudden? And he's going to solve the crime when he sees the guy under the mask.
Right, because it's got to be somebody he knows.
Right. But Murray, we'll talk about it later. Do we want to talk about it now? The whole, importance of taking off the mask?
I don't know. What is it?
I mean, we got to know who would be involved in such perverted shit.
Right.
We see Eddie's face. We see Velvet's face.
Who would be the guy that would actually kill the person?
Actually slice up a fucking teenager.
For just sexual gratification. He's got to know. He's in deep. He hasn't talked to his wife in 2 weeks.
That's right.
And it's just fucking, he's not getting anything from Machine. And then he sees that Eddie's still going for that gun.
Yeah.
He's got the one bullet. So he shoots the chain that's holding him, and he's got to escape.
So we get like a chase in. He's jumping down the scaffolding not scaffolding,
There's
but
no
the
way Gandolfini could have kept up with him.
No, not at all.
He'd have a heart attack.
The fire escape, the ladders and everything you see in all the cities. He gets down, gets in his car, drives off. Eddie somehow catches up and shoots through the car.
Right.
But it's okay.
He gets away. Finally calls his wife.
It's been weeks.
And he tells her, look, get out of the house. Trust me. Go to the place where we spent 4th of July.
I'll be there in 3 hours. I got to pick up some KFC.
Yes, so, okay, then because they're in Manhattan, which means then Tom had to have lived in New York State.
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay. So then he calls up Mrs. C. Mrs. C, the film, it's real. Longdale was involved. He's dead. We got to call the police.
Tomorrow. Well, okay.
I can do that.
I got to ask, Tom, are you in danger right now?
Yes, we are. We must go to the police. I'll do that.
Could you tell me maybe what was the girl's name?
Marianne Matthews. Oh, nice. Then she hangs up the phone, looks up at that portrait of her husband in disgust.
Tom arrives at the cabin, I don't know, a couple hours eclipse here. 3 hours, actually. Yeah, microwave timing. And, of course, he's got a bucket of the Colonel. Amy begs him for answers. Did you get gravy?
No biscuits? I love their biscuits. I was in a rush. I don't know.
I panicked and got triple coleslaw.
She's like, as any reasonable woman would do, she's, Tom, what the fuck is going on? It's that classic, I don't have time to tell you. You have 3 hours. You're on the phone.
Really, you're driving away from danger. You have all the time in the world. You're safe in your car.
And he's like, look, I'll tell you everything. I got to see Mrs. C first. Then I'll tell you everything. I promise.
I gotta take care of this. No one else is gonna take care of this. I, the white man, has to take care of this.
I can call the cops right here.
But their hands are tied.
Right. So he shows up at Mrs. Christian's mansion, and she's met by the butler, Mattingly. Yeah, Mattingly worked for Miss Christian before you worked for us.
He did it. The butler did it.
The butler always does it. And he's just like, oh, she's indisposed, sir. She left you a message, though. And he's like, and some package for you, your payment, and a payment for the dear mother of the child that was murdered in that thing. And he's like, I gotta see her. I'm afraid she took her life this morning.
Cut her life in 2 pieces. That was her last resort.
You fucking piece of shit.
Thank you, Murray.
And he's stunned. He just takes the packages. He opens the note. I thought it said try to forgive us. Did it say try to forget us?
I can't read cursive. We don't do cursive anymore.
I think it said try to forgive us.
You're probably right.
And then he returns home to Amy, and he's just like, I gotta finish it. This is what we're seeing. This is the man who, once he gets involved with something, he's got tunnel vision. He can't just let it go. He can't just call the cops. He's like, I have to do this. I have to see it through to the end. I have to know why.
Again, very Manhunter. That was the kind of fucking, wave that Manhunter was riding here.
And she's just like, look, go ahead, but I might not be here when you come back.
Again, Manhunter.
So he goes back to L.A. and because he knows where Eddie lives,
because he loves it,
and Eddie's bugging out. He's taking all his porno with him because I think this was regular porn. This was his like evil porn. I don't know.
This had to be like his secret stash or something. I think my pen.
He's like, I don't want my mom to know I watch this shit, because he doesn't want his mom to come to his place and find his porno stash. You don't want your mom to find your porno stash.
Well, you never
Even
do.
if you're a sleazy fucking murderous piece of shit, you don't want mom to see.
Never.
That you got Debbie Does Dallas too. I don't. Yeah.
Well, the first one everyone gets, but the sequel?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's like ordering Cars, the movie. Okay.
So he fucking comes up on Eddie, beats the shit out of him. You're going to show me where you filmed that fucking film. And he's like, whatever. Yeah, okay. So they go to this rundown.
Well, he wants Eddie's whereabouts, and he can't get them.
He wants the machine's whereabouts.
Or machines, excuse me.
I don't know that guy. What do you know?
And so he's like, well, then you're going to show me where the fucking film happened at.
So he takes him there, and Eddie's like, being kind of sassy with him because they think he believes that Tom doesn't have the cojones to do anything.
That's right.
So they go in there and he's like, this is where it's killed? Yeah, I don't know, I guess, hey.
It looks familiar. It's been 6 or 7 years.
I remember this dumb broad. Yeah, I told her I was gonna make her a star. She was an idiot. Tits were awful. Fried fucking eggs.
I slapped her around a little bit. I drugged her a little bit. You know, I told her murder's not so bad.
And he's like, so you were the guy in the picture? Yeah, I was there. And he's like, well, why did you? He's like, I watched, but it fucking made me sick. He's like, well, why did you fucking want? I don't know. I never saw somebody get killed before.
I thought it might be fun. So Tom, he's pulling out his gun, and he's thinking it, and of course,
he ties Eddie up.
Yeah, he
pulls some wiring out of the thing, ties him to like some studs in the wall,
and so
his neck is tied up and his hands are tied behind his back.
Tom pulls out a gun, and he's putting it to Eddie's head, and Ed is there. Go ahead, kill me.
He's
Give it to me.
He's deep throating the fucking barrel. You don't have the balls to do it.
He calls him the F slur.
Yeah.
And he's
trying to do that in 1999.
Nick Cage is trying to go, no homo. And he's like, no homo.
And then he's like, fuck, I can't kill this guy. And he just stumbles out. He's like, you pussy. Walks out to his car, sits down there, gets his flip phone out, calls up the mom of Marianne.
Janet.
He's like, she was killed. He tells her all the details.
It's the middle of the night. Tom, is that you? It's the middle of the night. What do you got to tell me?
I need you to tell me. Do I have your permission to kill the creeps that killed your daughter?
What are you talking about? My daughter's dead.
You gotta give me your permission.
Did you love your daughter?
Yes, I did. Kill those motherfuckers. Then he's got his permission.
Bum, 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 chicka, boom. Big old fuck. We should have some industrial music here.
Comes back in, and he's like, I knew you didn't have the balls to shoot me. He's like, yeah, I don't, but I'm going to fucking cave your skull in with this gun. He starts bashing. No! He's smashing his fucking head in. Grabs his stash of porn, covers him with it, gets out the gasoline, sets that building on fire.
Traumatized Nick Cage. Tom starts flying back to New York now because he was in Hollywood, going back to New York, and he's calling around as he's driving.
I guess on a hunch, it
makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah,
he's calling around into like the smaller hospitals and everything. Hey, I'm Detective Long Johnson, and I'm just looking for a guy who maybe came in like with a stab wound near the stomach.
Got a tattoo. First of all. No, you couldn't do this.
No, you couldn't.
You'd have to show up in person with the proper documentation.
Yeah.
But we need to finish this movie.
It's a movie. We need to finish it, and Joel needed to finish it.
Right. So we learned that, there was a guy matching that with the swastika. He might as well have had a swastika tattoo. Pentagram tattoo. Yeah, George Anthony Higgins. He's registered under his mom's address, of course.
Under his mom's insurance, too.
Of course he's a mama's boy. Yeah. So he finds the place. Conveniently lives right next to a cemetery. That's probably what
symbolism.
Well, it probably inflamed his goth instincts.
That had to be it. Danzig's always singing about fucking goth people or funerals and
right. So he's surveilling the place. We see this nice little old lady.
She's kissing her son in the fucking like window as Tom is watching from outside.
I wish you'd just come to church every once so often. Mom, I can't do that.
Nick Cage, by the way, has clearly chosen his wardrobe for this scene. He's wearing a Matrix outfit. Yeah. 1999 was the year The Matrix came out.
Well, then he predated it then.
He had to have seen a trailer, and he was like, yeah, I want to do that too.
Well, that's the ultimate cool guy outfit, though.
Right. He's got the little shades on. He's got the fucking black, like, duster.
Wasn't it like a leather? I thought he had like a leather blazer or something. I don't know what he had.
It was like a full coat. Okay. He was like going full Matrix, and it was like, what are we doing here, Nick?
He's what the mom goes to her like Wednesday night bingo game at the church.
Yeah, she's wishing her son went with her. Right. By the way, if he has that tattoo of a fucking pentagram on his hand, you think his mom would be a little weirder about it? He wears
a Band-Aid on it when he's
gotta
home.
be.
So now it starts raining. We've got to have a dramatic rain.
Right.
Tom sneaks in the cellar window.
It's open. It's just on a hinge. There's no lock. It just hinges open.
It's blasting.
Same drum beat on a loop.
This is the only time George gets to listen to his music. His mom hates that rock and roll music.
That's
so
right.
He's blasting it.
That's right.
Goes into, and this is where it all makes sense. To me, it makes sense. He's asking why. I'm like, I know why. because he walks into George's room, shrine to Glenn Danzig, posters everywhere.
Yep.
Not listening to Danzig though. I don't know.
That was what was interesting about it. And what I thought was really interesting is we get a look at what he's been writing down on his little desk. I recognize, I hit pause on my Laserdisc, I enhance. It's the screenplay for Veronica.
Oh my God.
Danzig didn't even write it. George Anthony Higgins wrote it.
Danzig's known for fucking plagiarizing and stealing. He stole the fucking Danzig skull from a comic book.
Of course he did.
He stole the Crimson Ghost. That's not him.
Come on.
Danzig, come on.
Come on.
So he's listening to vinyl, so it stops.
Right.
So now it's quiet.
Or no, it's skipping, wasn't it?
No, I think it just stopped.
No, you're right. It scratches.
And then he starts searching through the house, doesn't see anything, and then he goes like downstairs, and then the music starts playing again. So he goes back to that room.
Yeah, just about to head out, and then he goes back into the room, and then he gets fucking.
Right. It's fucking the Machine because he's got the mask.
He's
on.
got his gimp
he's
mask.
Full Machine again. And he fucking spears fucking Tom right through a window. Tom goes falling down, lands in the graveyard next door.
Tom was about to get murdered here, but he kicked the guy or kneed the guy in his gut wound. Gets thrown out the window, falls over like an awning that it looked like it fell right off as soon as Tom hit it, but apparently it didn't. Because Tom rolls onto the ground.
Well, it did loosen it because then Machine goes on the roof and it collapses underneath his weight.
Underneath him.
He falls into the graveyard.
The gun gets thrown outside of this little fence that they're working into this cemetery.
Right. And then does Machine lose his mask at this point?
No.
So Machine's like, you want to know why?
Because Machine is pinning Tom down,
Right.
got a knife out to his throat, and telling him about how he loves stabbing people.
Well, he's like, you want the best part of stabbing, and it isn't when you come up to him with the knife. No, it's when you're stabbing them and they know that their life is over. It wasn't just porno for me. Don't you feel how hard I am?
This is the closest thing that rates in the Sweetson scale.
Yeah, you guys are probably hard.
It's not for us.
Yeah,
you know, we've talked about
we're
where
totally
we're not
that.
into like that.
No homo.
No homo. We're not into it.
So Tom just grabs like a broken off piece of like a tombstone, hits him in the head with it.
Right. And then he gets the edge on him, grabs his gun, and tells him, take the mask off.
Pulls it off. Fucking Jim Cornette. He even pulls out his glasses and puts them on.
And they're Jim Cornette's glasses. The iconic glasses he's had for the last 48 years.
And he's like, what, you want to hear the story? My dad raped me. He's like, I had a great life. My dad was my hero.
My mom was amazing. You think she beat me? No, she encouraged me in everything I did. She told me when I was wrong. She told me when I was right. I was not a bratty kid at all.
She went with me when I got this pentagram tattoo.
She encouraged me to, approach my artistic values.
And that like shakes Tom. He can't believe it. And that he drops his guard for just a moment. That's all the Machine needs.
That's all he needs.
So he grabs his knife, throws it at Tom.
As long as he didn't fucking bust a nut into Tom's mouth, yeah, I guess it's okay.
So the knife hits Tom. Then he like bull rushes Tom. And he's just like, I just like torturing and killing.
It's what I am.
Tom pulls the knife out of his arm, stabs him in the heart.
No, yeah, because he got stabbed. So yeah, he pulled the gun or the knife out.
Yeah, because he can't grab because the gun is on the other side of the fence of the cemetery.
Yeah, it got knocked away again. Yeah.
And as George dies, he simply says, "Thank you, fuck you, bye."
Tom hobbles his way all the way to the ER, and a day later, he just lets himself back into his house.
Yeah, and he just fucking grabs his daughter and holds her for all she's worth and starts sobbing.
Amy finally wakes up after 20 minutes of her daughter and a grown man crying in her house right outside of her bedroom door, open.
Well, she finally realizes he's exorcised his demons. He knows why now, so he can stop finally.
That's right.
And like no cleanup. Like I guess he just leaves Machine's body. I mean, nobody like investigates.
Yeah, he's done with that. It's all behind him now. It's all in the past. So he's crying, telling his wife, "I need you to save me."
So yeah, and now it's life is normal. He's back to raking.
We go through, I don't know, day 2, 3, 4, 5, week, 2 months, out there, Midwest, raking like we like to do. It's
Not
raining.
Midwest.
And he's out there.
It's upstate New York, which is close to Midwest.
Oh, yeah,
But
right.
it's the same lifestyle. And he's raking, and the mailman comes. And he sees there's a letter from Janet Matthews, the mother of poor Marianne, and she thanks him for what he did, avenging her daughter's death. And she's like, I will do good with that money that Mrs. Christian gave
That's
me.
right.
And then Tom just looks back at his family. It was all worth it.
All worth it. Tragedy, everything's awful, terrible life. 5 fucking hours of Nick Cage and his Nick. Why do people like Nick Cage?
He's okay in certain roles.
This wasn't the worst Nick Cage I've ever seen. I think the Lord of War, gun, whatever. I haven't seen that in a while. I thought that was his best movie that I enjoyed.
Okay. Idea. All right. I'm sorry if that didn't give you a boner. You know I'm talking to. Maybe this next movie will. All right. I've been wanting to do this movie for a while because it's such a ridiculous movie. And like we pointed out, we're equal opportunity here on Golan-Globus Theater.
Yeah.
Isn't that we've given you your heterosexual side. We're going into the world of gay leather daddies.
We don't have to say it because we're not insecure about our sexuality.
Exactly. We can watch a movie about gay people. It's
Exactly.
okay. And we're going to discuss it next week. But not just any. This is the weirdest movie. You've never seen this, have you?
I don't think so.
It's so tone deaf. It came out in 1980, starring Al Pacino.
Oh, boy.
He gets a cop. There's a serial killer on the loose in the leather daddy section of New York City. Al Pacino is a cop who goes undercover in that world. We will answer the question next week. Is gay contagious?
Okay.
It's cruising. And sorry, Joe Corey, I know you wanted to do this, but we're doing 2.5. I was so trying to get this month to like 90-minute episodes just because I'm trying to bring in new listeners, and I know it's daunting to have a 2.5 hour one. But I think we're going to spend an hour on the bandana shop alone next week.
Sorry, Joe Corey. We've talked about this.
Yes.
We were like, how do we work this out in the Matrix system and everything? It never worked out.
Right.
Because our body double, 2.5 hours. This movie, we're about at 2.5 hours. Next week, we like to try to do a 2 hour and follow it up with like a 90-minute. Not going to happen for a whole month.
These movies are 2 hours, for Christ's sake.
Not to mention what you got on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, we just can't stop. There's too many sexual perverts out there to talk about.
Right. So we're going to be cruising alone next week. Tune in. Keep it warm.